All right, here we go.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Endgame. I'm Pierre. He's Chris. We're here to do as we do and break down all the questions you have for waiver wire pickups. We can even do some start sit, although don't forget, we're going to be live with you again on Friday evening because Saturday is going to be full of watching football and other stuff like Christmas too. But look, we're here right now to help you with those last minute waiver decisions. Just because you had the first round bye, you won your first round matchup, you really think you can just sit back and watch your team go? No, you should always be active. In fact, sometimes in some leagues, this is where I'm the most active.
Yeah.
One league where I just had a bye and didn't play last week, I just put in, I think, 4 claims for tonight. I want those guys who can be that upside flex. I want the guy that I don't want my opponent to have. And I want those backups that might help me in case, God forbid, some of my studs go down before championship week. Now, Chris, here's the thing I want to ask you about before we get to all the housekeeping notes and then get to your comments is some people don't save their fab for playoff time. They're like, I can't bid on anybody. I already spent it all. I know we've talked about this a little bit before. I always like to save a few bucks for right now for this time of the year. But then what do? Does that mean you just like, oh, there's nobody worth adding? I mean, how active are you around this time of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like I have a few leagues where I still have like a decent amount of fab left, and I have some leagues where I have none because, if you're fighting just to get into the playoffs, you can't be like saving your fabs for the playoffs that you may not make, right? So there were some leagues where I like, whether it was injuries or just, fighting for the playoffs where I had to like drop fab on guys that I needed right then to get the win and keep my season alive. But certainly this week, no, like if Tyler out, like in fact, I'm going to leave with a buddy of mine, and we've got Swift and Pacheco and Rashad White. Those are like our running backs. And I was like, well, are we going to play Algier over any of those guys this week? Probably not, right? Because we're probably going to go with Swift and Pacheco. But I was like, what about next week if we get to the finals? Because he's got a great matchup next week. It's like, yeah, we'd probably play him over Pacheco, assuming he does what he did last week. I'm like, let's just drop all the rest of our money on him then. Because it's not going to do us any good to have fab left if we lose this week, or even if we go into next week. And if we're going to play Algier next week, then he's worth all the fab. He's worth all the fab, right? Because he's actually going to potentially help us win next week. So, yeah, there's no sense being stingy this time of year. Just go get guys. Go get them.
I agree. And look, at some people might need, unfortunately, a guy like you had Jonathan Taylor. You need a guy, right? You might not be set at running back. Hopefully you are, but you might need somebody like that. Like you said, week 17, you don't want to see Tyler Algier go for 100 and a touchdown on the other guy's lineup because you didn't pick him up. So, anyways, be active. We'll also answer your start sit questions. So we're going to be here for a while. We'll get to your comments, some notes, as I said before. We will do the super chats first and foremost. That's what the super chat feature is for. If you want to make sure, guarantee 100% that your question gets answered and put on the air, use the super chat feature. We'll do all of those. We'll do as many other comments as possible as well. If you have a start sit question, of course, you can definitely ask it now. You got to set those lineups early, like I said, by Friday night. I mean, really before the Thursday night game, but by Friday for sure. And a couple other things you should know. You can join us on Patreon if you want to be a patron because you just like what we do, you want to support us, or you want to be part of our private Start Sit show, which is usually Sunday mornings before kickoff. This week, of course, it will be Saturday morning, where we go in depth with all your questions and comments. And just for patrons, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. Also, our weekly rankings go out to the patrons. Waiver wire breakdown that has a lot more, twice as many choices as what you see on the video, and a lot more, including a ton of stuff during the off season, which sadly is getting closer. You can also join us on Discord, and that is free. It's easy. You can get involved in the in-game community and talk football and ask your questions any time of the day. The link is down below. If nothing else, you can do it just to be part of the news channel, breaking news. I'm telling you, it's faster than it is on Twitter. Plus, no fascism. That's a little added bonus there. But you can get the breaking news notifications. That's how I find out when things happen, because someone has posted it in our Discord. But also we have a ton of channels there. Start sit advice, of course, waiver wire. We're talking about today, even other stuff, other sports, which includes fantasy baseball. That's the only one good thing about football season being over is then more baseball content, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's always football season.
It is always football season, but there's also baseball. Anyways, we'll get into that later. If you want to join us on Did It, that's right. We have a new way that you can reach us, and we'll send out more information on that soon. There's an app called Did It for iOS devices. It's DIDIT. And that basically is a way to connect with us one-on-one for expert advice. And so it's basically a FaceTime, but for fantasy advice. That could be draft advice, that could be start sit advice, anything you want. So we'll release more information and put some links in descriptions below. Check for that in all our videos coming up. You want endgame merch? Go to bearclothing.org, Bear Clothing, and go to the bottom of the homepage and you'll see fantasy endgame merch. You get your shirts, your hoodies. I think that they make great Christmas presents. That's what I've been told. Yeah, there you go. And
it's
high
a
quality
good shirt too. I gotta admit, like it fits well. It's good quality. I like it.
Yep. No bias whatsoever. It's actually just
no bias.
I've got a ton of Bear Clothing merch. Just that's not fancy endgame. Just Bear Clothing. Y'all see me wear it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I got All right, and then last but not least, hit the like button if you like this, and if you don't, you know what? It's Christmas. You should give us a like anyways. The holiday spirit. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends. Maybe not your league mates. You don't want them to get the competitive advantage, but everyone else you know that watches football. And you can hit the notification bell so you can be informed every time we go live. We're live Tuesdays, of course, usually Saturdays, this time Friday night for start sit advice, Sunday nights, all the time. And we will be doing live mock drafts throughout the off season as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready to talk about week 16? God, we're here already. Week 16.
I'm ready. I know it's too fast, right? It feels like we just started and we're already coming to the end, but I'm ready.
All right. So here we go. First comment I see here, Justin. A couple of guys we've talked about in videos. Looking at all of our weekly videos come out yet, but you'll see us talk about Traylon Burks, Marquise Goodwin. Who's the better flex option also out of those running backs? So let's start Burks or Goodwin. Like them both.
Yeah, I think you got to go Burks just because we know that he's the guy in the Tennessee offense. He's got that big play potential. I mean, Goodwin does have such a great – that's one thing about Houston. Like, Houston is bad against everybody basically, but one thing they do, although I don't know, maybe they won't do it because of Derrick Henry. Maybe they'll stack the box, but like – one thing they did against the Chiefs is they basically just played prevent defense. Like they just had two safeties, 30 yards off the line of scrimmage and said, you're gonna beat us, 8 yards at a time. And Mahomes like, fine, here's Juju, here's McKinnon, here's Kelsey, and we'll do this all day and you'll lose. But at least it made him work for it. Maybe against the Titans, they can't do that because they're, Derrick Henry, we know, is going for 200 against the Texans because that's just what Derrick Henry does against the Texans, right? Like what? 4 straight games or 5 straight games over 200 yards against the Texans. He owns them more than Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago. So, yeah, I do like Goodwin this week, but that's a long-winded way of saying probably still got to go Burks because at least we know what his role and usage is.
Yeah, I got to go Burks. I really like Burks this coming week. Remember, he had 2 straight really good games, and then he had that one catch, that really impressive 25-yard touchdown. Unfortunately, that was the play he got concussed on. That was the beginning of the game. It was like the first drive of the game, I think. I think he's still, is a guy who has a ton of upside. He comes in and he's the alpha receiver there. That's kind of the only receiver there worth targeting. So I'm going Burks. I like both this week, but I like Burks. And then who's the better flex out of Algier, Dillon, or
Are we buying this Dillon? Like, this is 3 games in a row. Like, are we buying this that he's suddenly back? It's like he's suddenly back.
Maybe we should. I mean, I don't know what. Like, it's like they were saving him for the end of the season, but for what? Because they're not going to make the playoffs. Like, I think he maybe should have used them to get to the playoffs. I would say it's Algier, but it's such a bad matchup
Yeah.
at on the road against the Ravens, which have been a really good run defense. This week, I feel like it's Dylan, which is I'm only saying because of how he did last night.
Yeah, I think out of this group, I got to go Dylan as well, just because, again, yeah, Algier against the Ravens, that's no good. And Moss, yeah,
No Moss. All right, and speaking of last night's game, our guy Quinn, remember, started 0-4, but made the playoffs once he started watching. Unfortunately, Christian Watson did not get him there. But, hey, there's always next year, and I'm glad that we will see you next year for sure.
Hey, I will say, because Quinn is in the Discord and he did post and tag me, he only lost, like, you could say Watson, Devonta Smith, but, like, what was the difference between them? Like, 9 points or something? It wasn't, like, significant. He had Jonathan Taylor. That's just bad luck. That's just bad luck. If you had gotten a normal JT game, you'd still be playing right now. It's just, but hey, that was still a great season, a great comeback from 0-4. Looking next year, you're going to start 4-0 instead and not have to worry about it.
Exactly. Next year, you're going to have a bye in the first round. You won't even be playing this week.
Exactly.
Or last week. All right, so another Christian Watson comment question here. Pittman or Watson in half PPR? All right, we appreciate that, Kelsey. But look, the legit question is, number one, our defense is now going to take Christian Watson out. But also, does Romeo Doubs, coincidentally coming back in the same week, affect Christian Watson? Because Doubs was the leading receiver. Not that he had a huge game, 55 yards. But you got to worry a little bit now, don't you?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like Watson had been a target monster all year. He still got 6 targets last night. And look, the first part about the defense is there's something to that, because he saw a lot of Jalen Ramsey tonight. Like, that is some respect. The Rams putting Jalen Ramsey on Christian Watson. That is some respect right there. But look, if he had turned around, right, if he had understood what Aaron Rodgers was trying to do and caught that touchdown, no one would be worried right now. No one would be worried. Right? So it's not like, he didn't do anything he hasn't been doing all season. He just finally had a game where it didn't happen for him. So I think especially in half PPR, you got to go Watson. I mean, Pittman, he's not going to have a big yardage game. He's probably not going to score a touchdown. It's not a great matchup for Pittman. I'd rather have the upside of Watson, especially in half PPR.
Yeah, if I felt this was a better spot for Pittman, but you saw, last week was really the best matchup you could ask for. With Minnesota, of course, game script was totally bizarre. He still got a ton of targets in 60 yards, no touchdown. I mean, if it was a better offense, no, I think you got to go Watson, especially like you said, half PPR. I'll go Watson. Tyrone Jenkins, lineup question, raised his hand and everything. How worried are you about Christian Kirk versus Sauce and the Jets secondary? But that's a good point. Glad you said that. Will he be shadowing Zay? Because Kirk is a slot guy, right? Nobody runs more slot routes than Kirk. So what's your take on him? And then we'll talk about Zay.
Yeah, I don't know if Sauce is going to shadow Zay Jones, but Sauce plays on the outside. And so that means, like, I don't know if they'll just have him stay to one side in this game. Maybe they'll have him move to side to side. I don't really know how the Jets use him when he's not shadowing, to be honest. But that means Zay Jones and Marvin Jones are likely to get more of Sauce. But don't forget, they also have DJ Reader. I mean, yeah, Sauce is great, but, like, they have other strong corners. But Kirk does get the better matchup here out of the slot. I mean, it's still not a great spot. Like, Amon-Ra had a good game last week, but he didn't carry anybody into week 16, right? Like, he didn't kill you, but he didn't carry anybody, and that's Amon-Ra. This is Kirk, so you got to be a little worried about Kirk this week. You got to be a little bit worried for sure.
I mean, you've got to think that the ceiling is pretty capped. Yeah. I really thought last week would be a big Kirk week. It could have been, should have been. He had good numbers, but not great, of course. It was Zay Jones week. Kind of a low-end wide receiver 3. I mean, even that might be a little generous.
How do you bench Zay Jones right now? How do you bench Zay Jones right now?
Ben Say Jones
Like
outright.
how? Like how do you do it?
I mean,
Like I get it. Like I get all the reasons why you could and probably should bench Zay Jones this week, but like he's been going off. Like how do you leave that on your bench and just say, well, I'm just going to trust that like this matchup is so brutal he won't get anything.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, been the main target. I could see though, because of Sauce, I could see it being another Ingram week where he gets targeted underneath because they'll probably leave him. Not that I love Ingram this week. I'm just saying he might be the most productive. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying you outright bench Zay, but yeah, both of these guys are kind of risky. Probably more like flex options.
Yeah.
All right, DeQuavis Ewing has a question. It's down here. All right. Pacheco, Olave, Najee at the flex.
I think I got to go. I think I got to go Najee slightly over Pacheco. Let's really. I mean, I never thought I'd be saying this, but let's really hope Kenny Pickett is back. You know, I didn't even realize this until. No, here's why. I didn't even realize this until I was going through it today. Najee Harris had 0 targets in that game. Pat Freiermuth had 0 targets. Jaylen Warren only had 1 target. That means Mitch Trubisky targeted the running backs and the tight end 1 time. The entire game. 1 target combined for running backs and tight end. Get Trubisky out of here for all of our fantasy teams. But regardless, you know Najee's going to get tons of carry. He had 24 carries in that game. He's going to get the bulk of the work. It's a great matchup for Najee. It's a great matchup for Pacheco too, but he's got Jerick McKinnon, who's really taking all the kind of the, you know, all the passing down work and everything. So I'm going to go with Najee.
I'm going to go Najee as well. Look, Olave, great player, but we've seen his involvement and not just like route participation, just being on the field. Yeah. Right? Didn't we see he was on the field like 49% of the time last week or something?
Bad.
And this offense is doing a really good job of not using its best players, like Kamara as a pass catcher, like Olave. It's the okay, Juwan Johnson, good tight end, but like it's all these random guys that are not better than Kamara and Olave. So yeah, you can't start Olave this week, and then Pacheco, but I like Najee a little bit better.
Yeah. He also has a tight end question.
Oh,
he's asking about Knox or Schultz.
We'll get to that. And Sarp just wanted to cry, lost by half a point.
Oh,
and Aaron Jones left. Man,
that's brutal.
That is brutal. All right. So the question here, sorry about that. The Quavis, so Knox over Schultz based on last week. I can't
do it. I know Schultz was let down last week, but man, he should have had a touchdown. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know Knox keeps scoring, but I mean, he does have a tough matchup this week, but I'm still going with Schultz. Plus, it's the Eagles, and Noah Brown isn't going to be able to do what he did against the Eagles. Michael Gallup's going to get shut down by Darius Slay and James Bradbury. I think it's going to be a good CD game and a good Schultz game because CD's the slot guy, believe it or not. He's a guy, he plays a lot out of the slot. So I think it's going to be a good CD and a good Schultz game.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Schultz too. Knox will have those big games, but very inconsistent in terms of involvement. I'm going to go Schultz. All right. Well, hello. We have a user here named The Bus, or just
he
Bus.
knows how to get on the show. Heart emoji here, dolphin emojis.
And you know he's putting the dolphin emojis despite being a Jets fan. That's the thing. Like
that's how bad he wants to get on the show.
All right, but it worked. Okay, who should I start? Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, because I want to put up as many Christian Watson questions as possible. Or would you go Goodwin over those guys?
I'm still going Christian Watson. I'm not like I didn't see anything that makes me think like, okay, again, he had a touchdown. He just wasn't on the same page with Aaron Rodgers, right? He had a touchdown there. Garrett Wilson, just not a lot of upside with Zach Wilson. Like he's fine. He'll be fine. Like I still think like I'm still starting Garrett Wilson, but you can't expect a big game with him. And Goodwin is very risky. And if look, if I'm going to go for a boom bust type of player, give me one who's boomed plenty and who I know is, still technically the wide receiver one with Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go with Christian Watson.
Yeah, like Goodwin could be an upside play at your flex, not your wide receiver too. Like if you're choosing between Donovan Peoples-Jones or like it's guys like that, okay, I'll go with Goodwin maybe, but no, I have both these guys over him, and just because of the Zach Wilson factor, I think I have to go Watson over him also. Still. All right, we got a waiver wire question. Kyle Pelkey had Kyler, needs a quarterback. Not good timing, but hey, it happens. So options are Tom Brady, Daniel Jones, or is there a waiver wire quarterback you like? For example, Zach Wilson. And look, that's, funny, sad, but it's true that honestly, that's probably the best option out there. If you're looking on waivers for a quarterback, yeah, no surprise, you're not going to find any studs out there. They're probably the best options are like Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold. If you're like super lucky, Trevor Lawrence, but probably not. So who do you like?
This is tough. I do kind of like Zach Wilson this week, but do I really want Zach Wilson in my lineup in my playoff semifinals? No. Look, Daniel Jones in a great spot against the Vikings. Man, do I really want Daniel Jones in my semifinal? Like, do I really want to be like, okay, Daniel, please hit Darius Slayton on a big touchdown, or please run for 70 yards and a touchdown? Because he's not going to throw. He's not going to throw for 300 or 250. He's probably not going to throw for multiple touchdowns. And then you got Tom Brady, but it's not really. Is it a matchup that's going to force him to throw it a ton? Oh man.
This is what happens, when you're swapping out your number one overall draft pick for Zach Moss at running back, and then you're swapping your quarterback for like Zach Wilson.
This is fantasy. This is why you get to this time of the year, it's so imagine you rode Jalen Hurts all year. He's been carrying your team, and now he's got to be out probably. And it's now you got to go to the waiver wire and pick up Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? It's hey, good job all year. Now you're screwed. I probably go Brady still. At least the Bucks. One thing about the Bucks, they can't run the ball. So even if it's not a negative game script, they pretty much have to throw the ball 40 plus times every single game. He'll at least get 280, 300 yards. Yeah, he may not have a 2 or 3 touchdown game, but 280, 300 yards and a touchdown or two. I'm taking Tom Brady.
I'm taking Tom Brady, and not just because I don't on principle want to lose my playoff game with Zach Wilson at quarterback or Daniel Jones. No, but realistically, Brady, at least he's been putting up numbers by volume.
Yeah.
He'll pass it enough, I think, this week that he'll be fine. You can't trust Daniel Jones, who barely throws the ball, and without doing anything on the ground, which again, you can't count on, at least enough to make you be glad you started him in fantasy. I can't count on it. Wilson, look, maybe Zach Wilson could outscore Tom Brady. It wouldn't shock me, but I'd rather count on Tom Brady because I also have less confidence. I see a smaller path to Tom Brady having a 4 interception game, for example, than Zach Wilson.
Yes.
And speaking of, you mentioned Jalen Hurts, which is also very much up in the air. Leon, remember I asked if Jalen Hurts would be benched if they locked up the normal seat early? Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now he might be benched because he's hurt.
Yeah, brutal. Brutal. Just brutal for so many teams. So many teams.
All right, one more of these regular comments before we get to the super chats because they are piling up. So let me go ahead and throw out a kicker question nice and early. Wasim, Butker or McLaughlin? I know you don't like naming kickers by name, but I bet I know your answer to this one.
Yeah, even I know not to play Butker. Come on, the guy can't even kick right now. You can't play him. You can't play him.
He's been struggling. I know it was a long field goal, but he also missed another kick.
I think it was saying on the telecast he's hurt and he's injured, and it's that's what I was saying. I can't believe what are they going to do in overtime? Obviously, they didn't need to because Jerick McKinnon did the walk off. But I'm if they're in overtime and they have a chance for a 40-yarder, are they even going to attempt it? Like, cause this guy, he can't make a 40-yarder right now. No way. They weren't even close. Not even close. He barely can make extra points. You can't.
No.
I don't know anything about kickers except you can't play Harrison Butker. I know that.
Yeah. Butker is just too risky. Go with McLaughlin. Put up obviously a lot of points last week. I don't know if he'll do it again, but still, he's a safer pick by far. Also, guys, good thing to know. I'm sure you've heard the Arctic blast is coming through in 2 days. There's gonna be a lot of cold weather, and I don't know the weather report for sure completely this weekend. But if you got a kicker you can play in a dome, put that kicker in. Just do it. Right? No winds, no snow, no whatever to worry about. Dome kickers this time of year. Yeah. All right, and then Sabasan, welcome back. Here's the team. Here's the bench. Any thoughts? Pick up Deion Jackson or Moss. Look, if you already saw the waiver wire video, you know I said the guy I like better is Deion Jackson, not Zach Moss. But anyways, any switches you would make? Tua, Diggs, Hopkins, Walker, Mostert, Waller, and Pittman.
I mean, you can pick up Deion Jackson, but you're never going to play Deion Jackson.
Well, if you have Raheem Mostert twice on your roster, you probably only need one of him. So,
well, that's true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you would play Deion Jackson over Mostert. I guess.
Would you? I think I would pick up Deion Jackson over Gibson. I think there's more upside.
Yeah,
there.
I'd pick him up over Gibson for sure. I mean, he's worth picking up. You never know. Like, yeah. He's definitely worth picking up. I'm not really interested in Moss. Like standard league, sure, pick up Moss, but outside of that, I'm only in like deep leagues where I'm desperate at running back.
Yeah, but I don't think I would make any other switches. I would keep Waller in there over Everett. I'm a little down on Everett, and then Pittman. Yeah, I think Hopkins is fine even with a third string quarterback. You still like Hopkins over Pittman, I assume.
Yeah, you got to still like Hopkins. I mean, he still had 11 targets last week, caught 7 passes. So, I mean, yeah, he's probably not going to have, top 5 upside because it's Trace McSorley. But, yeah, I think you still start him.
Yeah. All right, so you're good with your lineup. And, yeah, you can pick up Jackson over Gibby.
Yeah.
Anthony Cervantes, messages below. We'll get to that. And thank you. God. All right. Well, good. We're going to try to get you there one more week at least. Get to the championship. That's what we're going for. All right. So who do I start if Hurts doesn't play? Here we go. Brady, Goff, Minshew, or Zach Wilson?
I'm still going Brady. I'm Goff on the road again. Now he has 3 touchdowns on the road this year, but that's because Brock Wright took a 50-yard screen pass 50 yards to the house because when an elite defense could not tackle Brock Wright for 50 yards somehow. Like, what? Are you kidding me? But anyways, I'm not banking on that again. He's on the road. Carolina, good secondary too. J.C. Horn should play. I'm going Brady as well.
Yeah, still avoiding Goff. Like you said, we already said Brady over Zach Wilson. The only question is Minshew. Are you interested enough in Minshew with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith that you would put him in over Brady?
Yeah, probably not. I mean,
yeah,
it's technically a good matchup against Dallas, but I mean, he's Gardner Minshew. Like, okay, I mean, yeah, maybe, but like, yeah,
taking a chance in the playoffs with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to be looking down at Gardner Minshew and be like, okay, Gardner, come on, I need you, save my season. No, I'm going Brady.
And then he's saying he's got Godwin, he's got Sun God. I'm not too worried about stacking. It's not DFS. Like, you play the guy who's going to get you the most points. I would go Brady.
Yeah, because what's funny is you could have the Brady, Goff, or Minshew stack on this team, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going Brady.
Yeah, I guess you're stacking no matter what. But yeah, Brady for me too. I think he should be fine. And then Luis Ortiz, welcome back. Really worried about D-Hop. You think he'll be fine, even if it's Trace McSorley?
I think he'll be fine. Again, he had 11 targets last game. And look, Colt McCoy got hurt like pretty early in that game, right? I think it was still the first half. It wasn't like he got hurt like right at the end of the game. He still had 11 targets. He still caught 7 passes. I think he had like 60 yards. Again, and it's not nearly as tough as a matchup as it was last. I mean, I know Tampa Bay has a good secondary, but that was Denver. That's as tough as it gets. Again, I don't think he has a huge ceiling this week. He's not going to put up like a 20-plus, top 5 week, like I said, but I think he's still a guy you have to start.
But now I'm looking. He says my other options are Garrett Wilson or Lamb.
Well, I mean, if you could play Lamb over D-Hop, play Lamb over D-Hop, definitely. No doubt about it, yeah.
Lamb is a must start. Like, that's, you don't even question it, and should be fine this week. I know you're worried about the matchup a little bit, but I'm going Lamb if those are your choices.
Yeah, no, Lamb's in my lineup every week. I don't care what the matchup is.
Yeah. Goomba. Jahan over London. Jahan had a big week last week. Can he do it again? This is Niners on the road.
Yeah, Niners on the road. I mean, he can always make – he's a playmaker, right? He can always make a play. We know this, but –
Or Ayuk. Ayuk's also an option. I see it's Ayuk.
Yeah, I'm off Ayuk. I mean, with Brock Purdy against his Commanders team, they're not going to take any chances. They don't need to, right? They're like 20 points and we win this game. Like 20 points and we win, almost guaranteed we win this game. No need to fling it to Brandon. I think it's going to be a ton of CMC, maybe some Kittle. Maybe Ayuk gets 1 or 2 shots, but that's probably it. I think I'm going London, honestly. I mean, at least he's getting involved again with Ritter. So, I don't know. I'm probably going London out of this group.
Yeah, I know it's tempting to go Dotson, but he's still the number 3, maybe number 2 now, receiver here, with a guy who's now on the verge of possibly losing his job at quarterback, Taylor Heineke, after last week. And I'm not just saying that, like they actually said. Ron Rivera's thinking about switching him out if he loses this week. Yeah. Drake London, still the number 1 guy there. I don't like that matchup at all against Baltimore, but it's better than it is for a running back. So I'm going London too. I think he'll still get enough targets.
Yeah, he had 7 catches, 70 yards last week with Ritter. And I think it's trending towards Marcus Peters not playing, so that makes that secondary weak. So I'm going London.
Yeah, go London here, and then Jeff Wilson or CPAC.
Man,
I mean, we don't know for sure Wilson's playing. It sounds like Wilson's playing.
I think if he plays, assuming he practices all week and looks fine. If it's one of those things where it's like not practicing. Limited practice, game time decision. We'll see how he feels. Like, then I'm off of him. But assuming he practices all week and looks okay, I'd probably go with him because Green Bay, it's a great matchup against Green Bay. They'll always have a chance to score. I mean, Cordero Patterson, like, he has to score. He has to. Like, if he doesn't, you get nothing. Like, you get 5 points or whatever it is. Like, what did you get last week? 12 with a touchdown? Like, with a touchdown. So I'd gamble on Jeff Wilson here.
I gamble on Jeff Wilson. Patterson, like I said, I don't love Algier, who looked really good, but I don't love him because of the matchup. You know I don't love Patterson. These guys are both very similar, veterans who are in his timeshare. Wilson might not even get that much run, but I'd still take a shot on him against Green Bay versus Patterson because Patterson is actually seeing his workload go a little bit down also. So London and Wilson. Anthony's from the previous chat said, forgot I need 3 receivers. So let's go back to that real quick and rewind. So we got Sun God, Godwin, A.J. Brown, Keenan Allen, and Zay Jones.
I'm going Sun God, A.J. Brown, and Keenan. I wouldn't fault you if it's Minshew if you wanted to put Godwin in over A.J. Brown. Now, I wouldn't. I would still go A.J. Brown. But I wouldn't fault it because I do like Godwin a lot this week as well. And you do have to be a little worried because one thing about Minshew, well, a few things about Minshew, but one of the big things about Minshew is he does not have a strong arm. And that's being nice. So you're not going to get these 60-yard dimes that you get from Jalen Hurts. You're not going to get those with A.J. Brown. So, but I would still go Sun God, A.J. Brown, and Keenan Allen. Those would be my 3.
Yeah, you think that they call him Uncle Rico because of the mustache. That's not the only reason.
Yeah.
In this group, this is one where I can say easily Zay Jones is not someone you start this week. And I find it too hard to sit A.J. Brown, no matter who's at quarterback, because he doesn't necessarily need a ton of targets. You know what he can do. So I would put A.J. Brown in there. I think you got to go Keenan. He's been so solid. And then I don't love the matchup for Sun God, but it's better than it was last week. I still think he's a must start. So I'll go with him. And then DeQuavis got another one here. We got Pacheco, Olave, Najee, or Dobbins at flex. So adding him to the mix. I think that was just changed from his previous question.
Yeah, still going with Najee. I don't mind Dobbins this week, but again, I mean, he's only getting like 12, 13 carries. And already, I mean, I know it's Tuesday, which is, it's a short week for a lot of these teams this week because they play on Saturday, but already didn't practice today. Starting to get a little nervous. Like, is that knee starting to get sore? Is that knee starting to get a little sore on him? I think Najee's just safer and he's in a great spot. I'm going Najee still.
Yeah. It's tempting to go Dobbins. In this particular matchup this week, I'm probably giving the slight edge to Najee. Like, I just put out my first batch of rankings for this coming week. I don't remember offhand. I think I had Najee a little bit higher. I'm still saying you kind of have to start Dobbins, but I like Najee a lot. I'll lean Najee. And then healing meditation. Watson or Smith? I'm guessing we're talking receiver. Christian Watson, Devontae Smith. That was the big debate last week. And look, Watson let down. Smith went off. But if it's not Jalen Hurts, I think it has to be Watson.
That's the thing. I think Smith, I think they'll still, I think Smith and A.J. Brown will be okay with Minshew. This Cowboys defense secondary, I know they're down a couple corners, but man, they have really taken a turn for the worse, right? They've been getting torched by passing games lately. And the thing about Devonta Smith, he's not used a lot in the vertical game in this passing attack. I mean, he will, but a lot of times he gets, more of the shorter routes. So I think he's a little safer with Minshew, I guess, but both, neither guy has a ton of upside. So again, I would rather gamble on Watson. I don't see Devonta Smith having a 18, 19, 20 point game with Minshew. If he gets you a 12 or 13 point game and Watson gets you a 9 or 10 point game, are you really going to be disappointed that you put Watson in? I know people always say this, right? Because they lose by 2 and they're like, oh, if I would have just started Devonta Smith over Watson, oh, come on, you could say that about any, probably 3 other decisions you made when the matchup is that close. But I'd rather have the guy who can go for 25 and win it for me than the guy that I think's probably going to get 13-ish.
Yeah, I think if it's Minshew, I'm going Watson. If it's Jalen Hurts, I think we have to all admit there's still a risk here because it's his shoulder and he's going to get an injection and play through it. Look, there's no guarantee he makes it through the game or that he looks as good as he normally would. But I still think if Hurts plays, I probably would go Smith. So that's going to make your decision. But I'm really thinking all this talk, maybe he'll go and, we'll do what we can. Whatever. He's not playing. I don't think he's playing.
I don't think he's playing.
And then Pacheco, McKinnon, or Mostert, 3 running backs we all kind of like this week, but which one do you like the best?
I mean, you got to go with McKinnon. You can't bench McKinnon right now. What is your reasoning for benching McKinnon? The only reason to bench McKinnon is to be he can't keep this going until he does for 30 more points on your bench, and then that's a decision you really could look back on and be I would have won if I did that. This isn't one of those he outscored him by 3. I should have gone him. Come on. This is a decision that could literally be if I would have played him, I would have won. It's a great matchup against Seattle. He has 17 targets over the last 2 games, 15 receptions. I don't see why that would change. I don't see why they'd all of a sudden be hey, that's working. Let's stop throwing it to him. I think McKinnon, obviously not a must start if you have studs, but I think outside of those stud running backs, he's almost has to be in your lineup. Just too much upside. Yeah.
I mean, I like Pacheco, but I think you got to obviously say McKinnon is now the guy in that offense who's got more upside. And then I like Mostert, but not as much as McKinnon. Jeff Wilson could come back. There are some concerns. Yeah, so exactly what we said about Watson. He can't do this again. And he did again. I can't do it. Yeah. I mean, finally, he didn't have a huge game, but then we'll see what happens next week. So, yeah, it's got to be the 2 upside plays, Watson and McKinnon. All right. And then Sabasan had a follow-up, have CPAT too.
Yeah.
Pretty concerned because your opponent has CMC and Pollard. No CPAT, I'm guessing.
No, I'm not starting CPAT. You got Walker. Walker should be great this week against KC. Right, had 10 days of rest. I know he didn't practice today, but I'm not worried about it. I think his ankles should be fine. He's had 10 days of rest. He looked fine. He looked great against San Francisco, honestly. I mean, he ran the ball great against that defense. He looked great. I'm not playing CPAT. I'm not playing Gibson. I think even if Jeff Wilson plays, I still like Mostert. So, I mean, yeah, you should be concerned because your opponent has CMC and Pollard, but there's nothing you can do about it.
No. Well, you're gonna say that Patterson, he's the upside play. He's not.
No,
Mostert is definitely the guy you want.
Yeah, what is Patterson's upside? Like I said, he scored last week and got you 12 in PPR.
And HB, some good advice for the Niners. They should just rest CMC now because he's playing against them. Yeah, good wishful thinking. Not going to happen here. All right, let's get to Ashley Gomez, Zay Slayton, or Zach Moss.
Okay, I can easily eliminate Zach Moss. Now, I know I just said, like, how do you bench Zay right now?
But
I do like Slayton this week. I mean, it's Minnesota. They've been awful against wide receivers. And it's the Jets. And he's an outside receiver against the Jets. It's even worse, but man, see this is like a decision that could haunt you, honestly, because man, Zay is on such a heater right now, and if you bench him, and he's just on such a heater that doesn't matter. But
and the thing is, the last 2 weeks, Slayton has gone cold, and they got other guys involved, right? It's like Hodgins and Richie James and Slayton. They're all getting 40 yards basically. But this week could be different.
I know this is a killer. I'm not even gonna lie, this is a killer. This is like one of those things. If it was my team, I'd probably be flip-flopping like 50 times between now and I don't know if they play Saturday or Sunday, but between now and then, I'd probably be like flip-flopping. Well, actually, Zay plays on Thursday, so you don't have that much time. That's right. Jaguars play Thursday. Oh man, I don't know. I'm gonna let you answer this one first. I'm gonna tap out. This is too hard. I
mean, look, if you're the front runner, if you're the team that had a bye, or if you feel like you're projected to do a lot better, you go Zay, and that's fine. If you really want to swing for the fences and go with the upside pick, it's Slayton. I mean, because he gets the Vikings, and he's that deep threat. That's what he does. I feel better about Zay getting to about double digits, but I don't see a big game in store for him. Slayton, it's probably going to be kind of an all or nothing thing for him. So if it were me right now, I'd probably stick with Zay in the lineup. It'd just be a little conservative. But again, if you feel like you're down or going to be down, again, Slayton's kind of that flyer could pay off.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
And then get back to, I know guys, we're a little behind in the super chats. What else is new? We will get to all of them. Don't worry, stay with us. And we have some of our friends back from previous weeks. We'll get to you in a second. Bear Camp. Also, Kyle Burks. Can't ever forget Kyle. Start Lamar or Rodgers, or would you pick up Purdy or Minshew? So this is technically a waiver wire question.
Yeah, I mean, if Lamar plays, I think you got to play him. I'm getting a little nervous about Lamar this week.
You got to be worried. He didn't, right? Wasn't he like a non-participant?
Yeah, he didn't practice today. And again, remember, they play Saturday. So they only have 2 more practices, right? This is like their Wednesday, basically. You would have liked to have seen him out there at least limited, like, okay, he's trending. Him not being out there day one is a little nervous. So if he's out, I would go Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Purdy or Minshew in my semifinals. No way.
Yeah, if Lamar plays, yes, you play him. If not, I would go Rodgers. Although, I think about it. No. Yeah, I'll go Rodgers. And then Alex A wants to know, in the semifinals, awesome. Should I drop Everett for Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, or Okonkwo? That's a fair question.
I think I would play Johnson over him. I mean, at least Johnson has the touchdown upside. He's getting targeted. a decent amount, about as much as you can hope for any tight end. Everett with Mike Williams back, Keenan Allen back, Josh Palmer there, Austin Eckler there. There's not a lot left over, right? There's not a lot of targets to go around for these guys. So, like, you really need Everett to score a touchdown. And when's the last time he scored a touchdown? It's been a while. I think I would just ride the hot hand of Juwan Johnson.
I would go Juwan Johnson until he stops scoring. You know there's a touchdown upside. I'm not taking a chance on Taysom Hill randomly getting involved. It doesn't happen on a consistent basis. Okonkwo, fine. He's been fine, but Johnson has been better because he's scoring more often. I'll go Johnson. Andy Dalton decided that's his guy. Yeah. He's now more involved than Chris Olave. Oh. Right or wrong, that's what it is. So I'll go Johnson. Okay, that was Alex A. And then we also have a good question from Alex B. Right. Is it crazy to start McKinnon over Chubb?
Oh, man. This is where this is fantasy football playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. For 7 or 8 weeks of the season, you're pointing fingers at everybody. I told you, Nick Chubb. I told you, I got league winner Nick Chubb. And now you're in week 16 and you're asking questions like McKinnon or Nick Chubb. And it's a legitimate question.
It is. It's a tough decision.
How did Deshaun Watson come in and make the Browns worse? They've gotten worse. Like they have, right? They've gotten worse with Deshaun Watson. Offensively, they have gotten worse. Oh, man. Could I do it, though? I mean, you can't flex McKinnon. There's no way to flex McKinnon. Like, who are you flexing? Like, you can't put him in the flex or something and play both these guys because
I mean, you might be starting a really good receiver at flex, I'm guessing. I think this question's more about Chubb. I mean, does he have to be in your lineup?
It is more about Chubb, but I mean, man, are we ready just to bench Chubb for McKinnon?
Yeah, it would be really tough for me to do that. I mean, obviously I could see.
But you could have it. But you could be looking at 8 points in your lineup and 30 points on your bench. That's the thing. I mean, I guess that's the thing. The only path for Chubb getting 30 points is a 3-touchdown game. Because that's the only time we've seen him score 30 points. And do we really think he's going to score 3 touchdowns? Can the Browns even score 3 touchdowns right now? Probably not. Probably not.
But here's the thing, too. And you probably know this. Nick Chubb was on the injury report with a foot injury. I mean, they haven't said it's serious or anything. I thought he got hurt during the game that we know of. But look, maybe a banged up Chubb that gives you an excuse to sit him.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Ah, man.
All right. So next up is Alex C. No, I'm just kidding.
We have Alex C. Did we even answer Alex B's question?
No, we're just gonna pretend it didn't exist. All right, Stephen Drake's. Look, right now I keep Chubb in there. If you continue to see Chubb on the injury report, swap him out, put McKinnon.
Yeah.
All right, Steven has Cardinals defense. Should I pick up the Browns? Hold them for next week. All right, and then let's do that, and then we'll do the receiver question. So Cardinals or Browns? So this week,
I think I like Cardinals the Browns. Browns have the Saints.
Tampa. Yeah, I'd rather have Cleveland's defense.
Yeah, Cleveland against the Saints. I mean, unless you think Taysom Hill's going to throw an 80-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed again, or unless you think yeah, I'm going to go the Browns. They're a better defense, and you shouldn't be worried about Andy Dalton doing anything.
No, and here's the thing is with Arizona, maybe having third-string quarterback, obviously that hurts their offense. When the offense is struggling to move the ball, that affects the defense because they're out there more often. They're put in bad positions sometimes. And I don't feel like they're going to put up a huge, interception, point total, anything like that against Tom Brady. So go with the Browns defense, and then would you drop Burks or Elijah Moore for another defense? No, I'm not. You don't need to stash 2 defenses here.
Yeah, I'm not dropping them for a defense. I mean, I'm okay dropping Elijah Moore, but not for a defense. Like if you're going to drop him for like Tyler Algier or Deion Jackson or Marquise Goodwin, somebody like that, sure, but not for a defense.
Yeah. Just go with the Browns defense. You'll be good. Kyle Kukorola, Zay, Ayuk, Evans, Watson, start 2.
I'm going Evans and Watson. I know I said it's hard to bench Zay, but when you have these options, I think I'll bench Zay. Evans, look, 10 targets last week, kind of got it going a little bit. Hopefully they get it going a little more here. And I'm not giving up on Watson after one, down game. It wasn't like he did nothing. It just got the Jalen Ramsey treatment. So I'm going Evans and Watson.
Yeah, and Zay's going to get the sauce treatment this week possibly. So I'll go Evans and Watson for sure. And then Geno, Kirk, or Carr. I think we can.
I think it's got to be Kirk right now. Like, how do you bench Kirk Cousins? He has 2 back-to-back 400-yard games, and he's probably not going to go for 400 yards again because they're probably not going to be getting, blown up. But look, we didn't think the Colts were going to be blowing them out, and what do you know? They're getting blown out. So, but the nice thing is, at least the nice thing for fantasy is this defense is bad. So they're never able to just take the foot off the gas and coast. They're always having to play. They're always having to score. They're always having to throw. I'm going Kirk.
I'm going Kirk too. Here's the one thing about Kirk Cousins. No matter what this year, he's got Justin Jefferson. He's always good for 200 yards because Justin Jefferson's pretty much good for that every week. Close. And Geno just lost Lockett. I mean, I don't hate Geno this week. I think he's fine because of the matchup, but I'm definitely going Kirk there. And definitely not going Carr. Another quarterback-related question. Do this real quick. Jorge Alfonso Sepulveda Cadena. For Hurts, I mean, we don't know who's out there on your waiver wire, but at quarterback, honestly, it might be Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it depends who's out there. I mean, if somehow Trevor Lawrence is out there, I know it's the Jets, but I'd still play him over all those guys.
Yeah.
If somehow Tom Brady is out there. Even if Aaron Rodgers is somehow out there, I'd play him over guys like Zach Wilson or Daniel Jones or guys like that.
Yeah, again, not knowing, but guys I have kind of below that top 10, like Lawrence, if Lawrence is out there, maybe. But maybe Tom Brady's on waivers. Probably not, but it's possible. Aaron Rodgers, I guess, maybe Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Michael Barton. Welcome back, Michael. Etienne or Dobbins?
Oh, this is close. This is sadly close. Man, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think you got to go Dobbins this week, assuming he's like, we don't start hearing about knee soreness, because I'm a little nervous. Again, he didn't practice today, and I'm pretty sure he's practiced each of the previous 2 Wednesdays. Now I know today is Tuesday, but you got to move everything back a day because the game is Saturday. So this is technically like their Wednesday. And I don't remember him missing a practice last week or the week before. Now all of a sudden, he's had 2 big games, put a lot of wear and tear on that knee. Now all of a sudden he's missing a practice. Are we going to start hearing like, yeah, his knee's a little sore? That's what we were starting to hear last time. Remember? That's what we were starting to hear last time. He's a little sore. And then you got to worry, like, does he only get like 8 carries this week because his knee's like killing him or whatever? But if not, I'm going Dobbins.
Yeah, I'm treating Dobbins as a sort of must start, like not no question asked, because he's not like one of the elites yet, but I think I have to go Dobbins, and it's a really good matchup for him. Lions defense, I mean, don't know who else you got. Lions defense is definitely startable, though, based on the way they're playing and the fact they get Carolina. I think they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
Trust Ingram and DK.
I mean, I definitely trust DK. I mean, I think DK is going to have a huge week. And I trust Ingram. Double-digit targets back-to-back games. He's obviously a big part of this offense. I definitely trust Ingram.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, I love DK this week. You can't go crazy about Ingram. Obviously with the Jags, we're talking about facing that Jets defense. It's a Thursday night game. But Ingram might be the guy who gets targeted because the receivers are blanketed. So I think Ingram is fine. I think he's fine this week. And then we got Snarf with a question. Snarf loves us. I feel.
What is Snarf from? What is that from?
I don't know. I know that there's I think it's Smurf. If anybody's seen the Adult Swim short, Too Many Cooks, which is
Thundercats. That's right. It was the Thundercats. I was like, He-Man or Thundercats? Thundercats.
Snarf. Okay. Yeah, it's not He-Man. I know my He-Man. Thundercats wasn't my jam, but
Thundercats.
All right. Lost Hurts. Purdy or Watson? I know.
Man. Oh, this is brutal. This is not fair. This is not fair. Like, yeah, this is not fair that you.
I mean, is there hope that Watson is okay because technically still a home game against a not that great defense of the Saints? Purdy gets a fairly good defense in Washington, but he's got CMC, he's got Kittle. You know what I mean? I feel these guys are kind of almost the same.
But also that Saints-Browns game, that's one of those games that's going to be affected by the weather. And look, these things have a way of like not being as bad as people think. But right now the projection for that game is 9 below.
So that might be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, like do you want Deshaun Watson in negative degrees? Like, I think I'd probably go Purdy because at least he can get the ball like we saw last week, right? He can just get it to Kittle and Kittle can break a tackle and take it to the house, or he can get it to CMC and CMC can take it to the house. Maybe Ayuk, if they get near the goal line, I think I'd go Purdy. But man, this
can't love Watson.
Like, this isn't even. This is like not fair, right? You have the best quarterback in the league all year long. You drafted him. You did a great job, and your reward is Brock Purdy in your semifinals. That's your reward for being good at fantasy football. Brutal, just brutal.
Sometimes the fantasy football gods smile upon us, and sometimes they do this. And pretty often, actually, they do this a lot. I'm not sure what's up with them, but all right, we made him wait long enough. Bear Camp, Cabin Rentals.
Wow,
the early Christmas gift. Very appreciate.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. But let's get to the question. If Chubb is out, let's look again. Got that foot thing who just cropped up. Would you go Zeke or Dobbins?
Oh man.
I don't know. For me, between those two guys, it's pretty easily Dobbins. I mean, because Zeke's going against the Eagles' defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go Dobbins. I know Zeke always has a chance to score. But, I mean, Dobbins has looked so good, and it's the Falcons.
Yeah, it's Falcons. Look, for me, the question here is almost even if Chubb is in, do I start Dobbins over Chubb? Is that possible?
Oh,
probably not.
Is this where we're at with Nick Chubb? Like, is this really where we're at with Nick Chubb? Oh my God. I remember arguing with people, which I don't know why I argued with people, but I argued with people early in the season. I was like, you better hope I'm like, look, there is nothing different about Nick Chubb this year other than he is scoring a ridiculous amount of touchdowns right now. People said, yeah, but he scores every week. Who cares? He scores every week. I said, you better hope those touchdowns don't end. They've ended. And now you're stuck with this. You're stuck with a guy who gets you 100 yards and 9 points. 100 yards, 10 points, which is great. In real life, that's great. Fantasy, not so much. But I don't think I could bench Chubb for these guys if he's healthy. I can't. I'm going Dobbins if Chubb's out, but otherwise, I'm going Chubb.
And you just mentioned that weather, and look, the over-under for that game in Cleveland right now is 30 or like 30.5. It's like insanely low. They're not expecting points. But on the other hand, when it's something like that, usually the running game is what kind of keeps things going.
Who wants to hit Nick Chubb when their limbs are frozen? It's like screw it, let him go. Let him go.
Yeah, neither of these teams are making the playoffs anyway. So, I guess I'll keep Chubb in there. But look, if he's, again, on the injury report midweek still, I might go Dobbins. I mean, you have to like Dobbins this week. You have no choice. Choose two. Garrett Wilson, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams.
Well, you got to play Adams. And then, look, I'm still playing Hopkins. I know his his QB situation is terrible too, but all due respect to Garrett Wilson, DeAndre Hopkins is a proven stud. I'm still going with DeAndre Hopkins over Garrett Wilson.
If it was any other quarterback, it would be definitely Garrett Wilson. But
Yeah.
And look, I get the whole thing with Arizona. The backup quarterback situation is not good, but Hopkins will still get his targets. Yeah, I go Hopkins and Adams too. All right, then we need a defense here. Tampa Bay, Dallas, potentially against Gardner Minshew, or the Rams against Denver.
I feel like Tampa was the defense I wanted if they were available. Who do they play again?
Yes, Arizona and that possible quarterback.
Yeah, you got to go Tampa Bay. And look, that defense did great that defense only fell apart when Tom Brady and the offense started falling apart and turning the ball over, right? And it was like, here, give Joe Burrow the ball at the 20-yard line. Oh, and then 2 minutes later, give him the ball at the 10. Oh, and then 2 minutes later, give him the ball at the 20 again. Like, come on. No defense can handle that. Yeah, I'm going Tampa.
I'm going Tampa for sure. Like, you'd think it'd be Dallas, but not this week. Even if it's Minshew, I still would prefer Tampa. You've got to play matchups. And look, Rams have a good matchup too, no doubt, but I feel much better about Tampa's. So Tampa is the defense. Thank you again, Bear Camp.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you again next week because you're in the championship. That's the goal here.
That's right.
And then we'll definitely see Michael on Saturday morning for the Patreon. And he's only asking this because he knows you hate it. Here's another defense question. It's a good thing we did a defense video this week. I'm telling you, guys, which, by the way, we all year long, we don't really do defense weekly questions because it's so random. But look, everything matters in the playoffs. You need your defensive questions answered. So look for that. Defensive streamers of the week. Dallas, Jacksonville, Cleveland.
I think I'm going Cleveland. Even with Minshew, one thing about Minshew is he's not a guy that's gonna, take crazy chances. You're not really banking on him, throwing a bunch of interceptions. Yeah, maybe he'll take some sacks, but they have a good offensive line. And they still have weapons there, and they'll probably just lean on Miles Sanders as much as they can, which they'll be able to against Dallas. And Dallas has been bad lately. Cleveland against Andy Dalton, they're a good defense. Like I said, it could be negative degrees in that game. Don't expect Andy Dalton to go out there and throw for a bunch of yards. I'll go for Cleveland.
I'm going Cleveland for sure. I get Jacksonville going against the Jets and Zach Wilson, but Wilson wasn't terrible last week, and Jacksonville's defense is not that great.
Yeah.
And even though Cowboys have been elite all year, not so much the last 2 weeks. If you realize it's not just that they play Philly. They've kind of, given up a lot of points, and that includes even to Houston 2 weeks ago. So I'm going, look, I've a couple of leagues where I've had the Dallas defense all year, drafted them, didn't worry about defense other than the bye week, and I'm benching them this week in the playoffs for whoever's out there. All right, little Isaiah, Trevor Lawrence or Lamar?
He's like, I thought it was just kidding about J.K. Dobbins. Well, if Lamar plays, I'm playing Lamar. No doubt about it. So there you go. If not, he's Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I agree. If Lamar plays, you play him. If not, obviously it's Lawrence. And then J.K. Dobbins, Kenneth Walker, or Keenan Allen in the flex. Man, got some good choices.
If this is PPR, then I'm going Keenan Allen. Because Keenan Allen's floor is 15 PPR points. That's his floor. And you look at Indy and you say, oh, Stephon Gilmore, they got good corners. But what did KJ Osborne just do to this defense? Destroy them. And he's their slot receiver. So yeah, I'm expecting a huge Keenan Allen game. So I'll say if it's PPR, Keenan Allen. If it's standard, then I'll go Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker, interesting this week. I mean, you got to worry about him and kind of getting scripted out. But you also got to think they might have to lean on him more. I mean, Chiefs defense has been pretty bad, mainly against receivers, though. That's the thing. But I'm not going to put J.K. Dobbins as much as I say, oh, okay, you have to start J.K. Dobbins. But Kenneth Walker is one of those guys you really don't question. That said, and if it's full PPR, it's so hard to bench Keenan Allen. I'd probably go Keenan Allen. All right, we're getting to more of the super chats, guys. We're working our way there. Trust me, this is a regular chat, but I feel like I have to put this up because, Chris, you live near Venice Beach. Have you heard of the Venice Beach Sports Network?
I have not. I've not heard of the Venice Beach Sports Network. It's interesting.
Venice Beach Sports Network is a big fan of Daniel Jones, apparently. The Jones is guaranteed 15 points.
Wow, 15 points is only going to be maybe this week with no Kyler, no Lamar, no Hurts. Maybe 15 points will be the 11th best QB this week.
We'll see. All right, just want to throw that up there. Eric B, what's up? Aaron Jones or McKinnon?
Look, I like Aaron Jones this week, but man, I can't bench McKinnon for Aaron Jones. I can't. I don't think I can.
I think for this one I can. I like Aaron Jones this week. I know he didn't have a big game, obviously, last night, but it's a different situation. I feel Jones. I know. Like McKinnon, he's going to score 2 more touchdowns, have 100 yards, maybe, but I'm going with Aaron Jones if it's me. You going McKinnon?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too excited about McKinnon because I'm a McKinnon fan. I've always been a McKinnon fan.
I know. Look, I just realized actually we've agreed almost every question. So let's split this one just to make sure we're not too agreeable. All right. So we're completely split on this one. He loves Jerick McKinnon. He hates Aaron Jones. Yeah. I say he's wrong. He's going to lose. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I go Aaron Jones. He goes McKinnon. Blair Davis. Welcome back, Blair. Here's McKinnon again. Would you flex McKinnon or McLaurin?
Well, here I'll easily flex McKinnon. I'm not super high on McLaurin this week against 49ers. Didn't have a big game last week. Now it gets an even tougher matchup. And we saw what Ward in this secondary did to Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf last week. Not expecting a big McLaurin game. I'm going McKinnon.
Yeah, you got to be a little worried about McLaurin because, Taylor Heineke's his guy. Well, might not be the guy going forward because they're saying that, look, if we didn't do it this week, and I don't even know, that's a pretty tough position going against the 49ers. I don't know if he has to win or at least has to play well against the 49ers defense. Maybe he gets benched for Wentz next week. Just don't be surprised. I go McKinnon here too. Look, McLaurin against the Giants, great, perfect. McLaurin against 49ers, not so great. So in this case, I do agree. I'll go McKinnon. Is there a chance that Chubb plays? Well, we haven't heard that he's not playing. We just heard that he's out in practice.
Yeah. You got to be a little nervous. Just a little bit, though. Tomorrow, if he misses tomorrow, then you're starting to get nervous. Really nervous.
And then that makes your start-sit decisions easier. Not better, but easier. And then Kyle with a quick actually just wants to say thank you and for pronouncing his last name correctly. All right.
Good job. That's why I let you do the names. Yeah. You're a teacher. I'm sure you've come across all sorts of names. Yeah. I let you do the names.
Yeah. Anytime. All right, Kyle. Good luck. Antonio Grotola. I'm going against Hurts, maybe. He has no backup QB. I had priority on waivers. Oh, I like where this is going. Minshew and Goff are his only options. Who should I block? Let me just say this. This is such an end game type strategy, isn't it?
Are you saying that there's no other quarterbacks on waivers but Minshew and Goff? Because if that's the case, I'm adding both of them. I don't care. I'm adding both. Drop your defense if you have to. If it means your opponent is going to get a 0 at quarterback, add them both. You can always add a defense at the last minute if you need to. Assuming that there's other quarterbacks on the waiver wire, though, assuming there's Daniel Jones's, Zach Wilson's, guys like that, then whatever. Let him pick whoever he wants.
You know what? That's actually a smart thing. I mean, you have backups, right? Guys, you're not starting. You want to win this week because if you don't, then next week doesn't exist for you. It doesn't matter because, like you said, if you're guaranteeing a 0 for him, it's worth it. So,
yeah,
not knowing your roster, of course, who you would drop, that's a different question. If you want to throw that in the chat later, it doesn't have to be a super chat. You can just put it in. We'll kind of look for it. I think Minshew is the first priority because, of course, if Hurts is playing, Minshew's playing in that Eagles offense. But that's it. This is exactly what we talk about, guys. This is how you win. It's not hoping and praying, crossing your fingers that your guy goes off for 40 points. It's by making smart strategical decisions. Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. All right. I got way too excited about that. All right, Michael O. Going against a stacked team this week. That's the playoffs. Do you like Etienne, Bam, or Dobbins?
I think you got to go Dobbins. I know it's a good spot for Bam this week, and I know it, but he's only carrying the ball, and still it's the Jets. Etienne, I think I got to go Dobbins over Etienne. Again, like I said earlier, though, if he's misses practice again tomorrow, and we're starting to hear John Harbaugh does his little he's just dealing with some knee soreness. No big deal, just some knee soreness in a knee that has horns on it, and it has had 2 surgeries in the last year on it. No big deal. Then I'm out on Dobbins. But if not, I'm playing Dobbins.
Yeah. Check the injury report, especially for guys like him. Of course, Chubb now. Go Dobbins. Pivot to Etienne if needed. Actually, I just noticed it doesn't say Z Knight, it says Z White. Is it Zamir White?
I know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, Zamir, if it's Zamir White, you can't play Zamir White.
No, he doesn't play. I'm guessing it's Knight. But anyways, either way, it doesn't matter. You're not playing him. It's Dobbins or Etienne. All right, and then at flex, do you like Burks, DJ Moore, DPJ, or one of those running backs?
Man, I feel like it's going to start raining frogs. Locusts are going to come over here because I'm going to pick Dobbins and DJ Moore on the same question. Wow. This is it, guys. Look, it's been fun. This is obviously a sign of the apocalypse. It's been a good ride. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Say your goodbyes because it's coming to an end because I just picked Dobbins and DJ Moore on the same question.
And we can replay. This is at basically the halfway mark of this video. Well, now we've been hour and 12. Okay, we're gonna look for this. Keith, the weather beast in Discord, one of our guys who helps out. He said something's going on because you picked Dobbins in one of the videos, and then we're doing a defense video. It's still us guys. We're not imposters. Okay, and then Field or Goff. I mean, it's pretty easily Field.
Gotta be Field.
All right, so Dobbins, pivot to Etienne if...
Wait, also, he's saying it's 1 point per carry?
If it's, then that's really not
even a question. Then it's definitely Fields because Goff's going to get you 0 carries, maybe 1 if he sneaks. But if that's the case, I might go Etienne. If it's point per carry...
But has he really been getting more carries than Dobbins lately?
Yeah, he got 17. Yeah, he's been getting 17 plus carries. Dobbins only getting 12 or 13 carries. He got Etienne had 19 carries last week. 17.
Yeah, Dobbins 15 and 13 last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Etienne 19 and 17 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe. If it's point per carry, then yeah, you might go Etienne.
Yeah, if it's point per carry, because that's a guaranteed. Unless you think somehow, the Jets are going to be blowing out the Jaguars and they're not going to be able to run the ball, which I don't see. I can see it being a low-scoring game, but they'll still be able to run the ball.
And I wonder now, though, if it is, and I really hope it is, we're talking about a point per carry, then don't you just flex the other running back instead of a receiver?
Oh, that's true. If it's point per carry, I would just play Etienne and Dobbins over DJ Moore because
because you're getting those points. And maybe I'm assuming it's also point per reception and point per carry, but still, I would go both running backs. If it's not, if you meant to put PPR for some reason, then I would go DJ Moore. But.
Yeah.
All right. This actually is not even a trick question anymore because you know the answer. What is everybody's favorite holiday film that the family can gather around and enjoy?
Shrek 2, but only on DVD. Only on DVD,
not streaming services. That's right. Shrek is here. I'm pretty sure there's a Shrek Christmas special at some point. They made one. I'm going to have to find it now. All right, here it is. Hill, or Chiggy.
It's got to be Chiggy. Look, he threw an 80-yard touchdown to Rashid Shaheed last week. Are you banking on that again? Are you banking on an 80-yard touchdown? Pass. No, I'm not. I'm going Chig.
Gotta go Chiggy with it. Yes. So Michael, got to rewind here. He said he meant to say Etienne or Pacheco, not Dobbins. You remember the question?
No, but okay.
All right. Here it is. So Etienne or Pacheco, not Dobbins. Okay, so forget Dobbins. Okay. Etienne or Pacheco.
Oh man. Not a great spot for Etienne this week. A very good spot for Pacheco, but I mean, he was in a great spot last week. I think I'd probably go Pacheco.
See, now I thought you were going to say Etienne.
I mean, I liked Etienne last week, but I don't like him as much this week against the Jets.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just Pacheco is just a runner. He's just a runner, and that's the problem. But it's the Seahawks, so I'm going to go Pacheco.
Yeah, I still like Pacheco. And again, a lot of people were disappointed because we thought he would go off. You know, I had him as a boom. He probably would have, if not for the fact that he did cough up that fumble and then got benched for a little while, because he was running really well. And yeah, I think he'll run really well against the Seattle run defense, which, by the way, is now threatening to be worse than Houston's. They actually might be worse now than Houston's for whatever reason. So I go Pacheco. Yeah. Antonio with another one. Full PPR. Not that it matters for quarterback, but Burrow or Fields. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. Burrow with New England. Fields with, he's got a tough matchup too, right? Who did the Bears play? I can't think of it.
The Bears play the Bills.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, but Burrow at New England could be rough there. Who knows? I don't know the weather there, but I'm guessing not going to be the best. I think I go Fields.
Yeah, probably Fields for the running, but it's close. The thing about Burrow is, like, it doesn't matter. I don't think the matchup really matters. He's got Chase. He's got Higgins. They're healthy. They always seem to, like, you know, one thing about the Bengals that they're really good at is even if, like, in the first half, like we saw against Tampa Bay, they're getting shut down. They adjust. They make adjustments. They come out. They figure it out. So I think even if, like, the Patriots are doing a good job against them, they'll figure it out. But, yeah, you got to go Fields for the rushing, I think.
I got to go Fields. JK or Kamara at the flex.
Okay, here I'm going Kamara. Call me crazy. Call me whatever. The thing with Dobbins, like, yes, okay, he's been rushing for 120 yards. That's nice. But he's not catching any passes. I know Kamara's not really catching any passes either. But, you know, who did Dobbins just run for 120 yards on?
Well, he did have a good matchup. He's got a good matchup this week also. He went against Cleveland.
What defense did he just run 120 yards on?
Oh, Cleveland? I see where you're going now.
Who gets Cleveland this week?
Yeah, Kamara.
Who just had 21 carries. Now, I get it. I wish he was catching 5 or 6 passes. But if he gets 21 carries again or 20 carries, he's probably going to rush for like 150 yards. So I'm going Kamara.
The thing with Dobbins is he gets Atlanta. That's a pretty good matchup too. And he ran for 120 yards the week before that on the road in Pittsburgh, which is not like a cupcake defense anymore. So, man, look, if it should be Kamara, but the way they're using him, or should I say not using him, I don't know. I'm going Dobbins this week. This week I'm going Dobbins. All right, and then Sabasan with another one. Did drop the super chat. Devontae or Pittman? Concerned about Minshew, rightfully so.
Yeah, but still, like you said, last week in a great matchup, he got 14 targets. He had what? 10 catches for 60 yards. 10 catches for 60 yards. Like they don't throw the ball down the field. Everything is so short. Right? And it's not a great matchup for him this week. against whoever they're playing that I can't remember now, even though I just was looking at it because I am old and I have short-term memory loss.
Devontae gets the Cowboys, and
But Devontae has a great matchup.
I mean, Pittman. Indy. No, I'm drawing a blank too because it's the Colts. They get the Chargers.
That's right. So it's not the best.
Okay.
It's not the worst, but it's not the best. And you can't expect like a huge, like you can't expect a big Pittman yardage game. I mean, you probably can't expect a big Devonta yardage game with Minshew either, but I think I still go Devonta in a better matchup against a Cowboys team that has been terrible against the pass lately.
Look, legit question. Are we sure that Matt Ryan at this point is really better than Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, exactly.
So I go Devontae.
I mean, look at I don't know if I don't know if Sabasan watched the game, but when it was like the Vikings were coming back and it would be like 3rd and 6, right? And it's like for the Colts I'm talking about, and the Colts needed you gotta get this first down to keep the drive alive, to keep the defense off the field. You know what the 3rd down play was? Like basically throw it to Pittman at the line of scrimmage and hope he runs for 6 yards. Like that was like just throw it to Pittman, not down the field, like at the line of scrimmage and hope he turns upfield and gets 6 yards. Like there's no upside in this offense. There's none.
No, because even with a ton of volume, which is like you want to chase targets, right? Chase volume, but even with the volume, it's like, yeah, there's not even a 20-point ceiling because they're not scoring enough touchdowns. So go Devontae. Ali, what's up? Which, by the way, Ali, did you join the Discord? Because I know he had reached out on Twitter, which I don't really use anymore.
Oh, shoot, Ali, sorry, I gotta respond to you, Ali. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, because he said something about you. Anyways, all right.
Yeah, my bad. I gotta. I'm sorry.
It's that
I'll do it right after this. I promise.
It's that memory's going. All right, my opponent has Hurts. How are we feeling about Evans and Devontae Smith? Well, we kind of already talked about Devontae Smith just now. Evans, still fine.
Yeah, still fine. He's got Brady still, so still fine.
Now, here's the real question here. Waller, possibly bad weather. Everett, or pick up Juwan Johnson. You put Johnson over all three of, out of all three of those guys.
I would just go with Juwan Johnson. He's also potentially has bad weather. There's a lot of bad weather games this week, but at least we know Johnson, has chances to score when they get near the goal line. Dalton will look for him. Yeah, I'm not banking on a big Waller game. Definitely not banking on a big Everett game. I would go with Johnson.
I would go with Johnson too. I mean, I know Waller scored, but not a great spot for them. And not just the weather, but the matchup. Pittsburgh been pretty good on defense. Everett, just target share keeps fading with all those receivers healthy. It's not a smash spot for a tight end anyway. So I'm going Johnson. And then John Stockman is on bye. Nice to be on bye this week.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Hopefully you're not playing your championship in the final week of the season, though. Don't really trust Jamal Williams. All right. Would it be a good idea to drop him for someone like Algier or, I think you mean handcuff, not handicap, like P. Ryan?
Well, I think I would drop him for Algier since you're on bye this week, and next week Algier gets a great matchup. I can't think of who it is because, again, I'm old, I have short-term memory, but I know he gets a great matchup next week. So you'll probably want Algier next week. My only reservation for dropping Jamal is if, Swift gets hurt. But look, Jamal's role really won't change if Swift gets hurt. It'll probably just be more Justin Jackson, right? Jamal will continue to get 16 carries and the goal line work. And then Justin Jackson will get the passing down work and some in between the tackles and goal line work. So yeah, I would drop Jamal for Algier, definitely.
I would do that too. It doesn't matter for this week. And I already said, really like Algier, been advocating for him lately. Don't like the matchup this week, but he gets Arizona and it's at home. They can definitely run against Arizona in week 17. So go for Algier. And with those running backs, good. I mean, smart, very smart that you have Mason with CMC to back him up. Dylan, good idea. So good. All good. And let's go to Luis Delgado. Terry McLaurin, Devontae Smith or Mike Evans for 2 wide receiver spots.
So are we picking 2, or is it the wide receiver 2 spot?
Well, I guess we'll just put them in order. Like, who's your favorite and your second favorite?
First, I'll say it first, assuming Hurts plays. If Hurts plays, I'm going Smith, Evans, McLaurin. If it's Minshew, I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm going Evans, Smith, McLaurin. So I just flip flop those guys based on it. So if it's two, those are the 2 I'm playing. Then if it's only 1, it depends on if Hurts plays or not. I guess it does.
Yeah, I got to put McLaurin last of this group, and then I think I might just put Devontae Smith first out of this group anyways. I think he's the guy I would start, and I put Evans second. So if you need 2 receivers, it's Smith and Evans for sure. If you just need 1, I'm going Smith. I could see pivoting to Evans if you're worried about Minshew. So either way. And then Luis, with Hurts out, maybe, not for sure, but probably. Is Goddard still a good option?
I think he's a better option if Hurts is out because, I mean, we saw it now, granted, they didn't have A.J. Brown last year. Devonta Smith was a rookie. But in that game against the Jets, Dallas Goedert went off. Minshew was just throwing the ball all over the field. Like, I think Goddard's a better start if it's Minshew. Like, I still like him with Hurts, but I think with Minshew, he's even a better start.
Yeah, Goddard's the one guy who may benefit. I think you could be a little worried and maybe he's not 100%, but if he plays, and he should play, I think you go Goddard. Evan Ingram, look, I know he's been really good lately, but not the best spot for him. I would go Goddard for sure. All right, and I know that we are kind of, halfway, a little more than halfway. Been on for a while, that's what I'm trying to say. So some reminders to those who joined us a little bit later. First of all, we are going to do as many questions as possible. I think we're even more backed up than usual tonight, so we're going to have to get going, especially on the super chats. Guys, if you do drop a super chat, guarantee we'll answer it. We'll be on until we answer all of those. You're just going to have to stick with us right now. I hate to say, but we're like 40 minutes behind on the super chats. So we're going to catch up as quickly as we can, but still give you in-depth answers. We don't want to just skim through these because obviously, you dropped it for a reason. We will do some regular chats if possible, but again, we're going to try to answer all your questions. Mainly try to do some waiver wire questions. You want those smart pickups because it's Tuesday night when waivers run for a lot of leagues. We'll also do start sit. Don't forget our start sit show is going to be on Friday night because, of course, Saturday is a full day of football. You need to get your lineups in time. Besides that, also just a couple of reminders for those who didn't join us at the very top of the show. You can join us on Discord, completely free, easy. Link is down below in the description. If you want to join us on Saturday morning, this week it's Saturday morning, 2 hours before kickoff, we do a start sit show for our patrons, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame for the price of a super chat. You can get that and more, several things on a monthly basis. So check that out. The link is also down below in the description. And we're also going to be now starting a new service we're very excited about. It's called Did It, a brand new app for iOS devices. I'm so excited. I actually have an iOS device. I have an iPad. I refuse to switch to Apple completely. I still have my Android phone. I got myself an iPad just for this. I think they're going to have a web app pretty soon too. So anyways, Did It is the name of the app, and it's basically a way you can interact with us one-on-one. So we'll have more information coming on that soon, probably on the Start Sit show. Okay, let's get back to it. Ben Hutchison with a super chat. Thank you. Evan Ingram or Dallas Goedert? Well, I guess we kind of just answered that.
Yeah, gotta be Goddard. With or without Hurts, it's gotta be Goddard.
Yeah, it's gotta be Goddard. Don't worry too much. If he's active, he's good to go. Ingram not in a super good spot, but even with Minshew, Goddard's a very good choice. Chris KD. Look, Chris KD, winner of our Najee Harris jersey giveaway. It is en route, guarantee, with Christmas shipping. Who knows how long it'll take, but it'll get there. It'll be a nice Christmas gift, hopefully. Round 2, let's go. Njoku or Schultz?
I still go Schultz. I go Schultz. I think they're going to need him this week against the Eagles. Njoku, he's okay, but man, you can't feel good about anybody on the Browns right now. Like, no, like like I said earlier, who would have thought Deshaun Watson would come in and make this offense worse? And he really has. He's made this offense worse. Like, yeah. So I'm going Schultz.
Yeah, we already talked about this earlier with Cleveland. Like, we're a little worried about the point total. It's supposed to be low. The weather's bad. Cleveland's been bad. And Joker's been fine. But if you got Schultz, I go Schultz. Definitely feel better about him. And then at flex, who do you like? Sanders, Mike Williams, Rashad, or DPJ? Or no, not Courtland Sutton.
I think Sanders. It's close between him and Mike Williams. But I do feel like even if Hurts plays, they'll still lean on him more because Hurts does have a sprained shoulder and they probably don't want him running as much. I'm not saying Hurts won't run at all, but he'll probably be a little more selective with his running. I think we could see more Sanders. Yeah, it's close, but I'd probably go Sanders. Oh man, I guess I go Sanders.
It's between the first two. It's either Sanders or Williams. Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, come on. Are the Colts going to put up a lot of points in the first half against the Chargers like they did against the Vikings? Probably not. I don't feel a big Williams game. With Williams, he's boom bust. I just don't feel that this is a boom week. I like Sanders this week. He's been solid. I think he goes Sanders. And I'm going to pretend you did not even mention Courtland Sutton. No, Luis, okay, he's following up. He asked about Goddard or Ingram. What about Njoku or Juwan Johnson?
No, I'm still going Goddard. Goddard to me, yeah. There's Travis Kelce might be the only tight end I play over Goddard this week.
Yeah, I still like Goddard. Look, we already said Njoku, no, not over those guys. Johnson's interesting. I still think you got to go Goddard. He's a stud. He'll get used. Again, with Minshew, it might actually be more used. All right, just a quick regular chat. Actually do a little quick surprise lightning round for you.
Okay.
Etienne or Mixon? Kenneth Alexander wants to know.
I still got to go Mixon. It's a tough spot for him, but 6 targets last week. Etienne's not getting 6 targets. He's on an offense that will give him chances to score, probably, maybe. I'm going Mixon.
Yeah, it's a terrible matchup for Mixon against the Patriots, and it's on the road, but I still feel better about his floor. I'm going Mixon. Kittle or Pat from Jay Landrum?
Oh, I got to go Kittle. I have Kittle, and I'm nervous for Kittle this week because he just went off, and that means he's probably going to do nothing. But how good can you feel about Freiermuth? Even before with Kenny Pickett, it wasn't like he was having big games. He was having fine games, but that's it. I'd rather chase the boom of George Kittle than the mediocre floor of Freiermuth.
Yeah, definitely got to be Kittle for me. Free win 420. Ingram or Kittle? It's got to be Kittle.
Here I would honestly probably go Ingram.
Really?
It's hard to ignore how he's being used in this offense. Double-digit targets, 2 straight games, 7 or more in 3 straight games. Kittle's not going to get that kind of usage. Even last week, what do you have, 5 targets? Look, Kittle's a monster who at any moment can get the ball in his hands, break a tackle, and go to the house. We've seen this. But without that, he's not going to give you a whole lot. And I really don't think this offense is going to throw the ball much because it's the Commanders. They need 17, 20-ish points, and they're going to win this game. So if I had this choice, I would go Ingram, personally.
And you're right. The Commanders, I think, are the second toughest against tight ends.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's just too tough for me just because I don't feel a big Ingram week. Maybe he has a slightly higher floor, but I go with the guy who can do what he did last week. I think I would go Kittle. And then Walker or Dobbins?
Definitely Walker.
Yeah, I still go Walker.
Yeah.
Ashley Gomez back to Super Chats with Another one. Love when you can stump. Yeah, sometimes that happens. It's been Garrett Wilson and Lockett holding down the flex. All right. Well, how about for tight end Johnson, Everett, or Knox?
I'm gonna go Johnson. Johnson and Knox to me kind of like similar guys that can score, guys that have potential to score. But Johnson, he's been doing it more consistently this year. I'll go with him. Everett, I'm like pretty nervous about Everett right now.
Yeah, Everett, I've lost pretty much all interest in starting Everett. I go Johnson again. Knox has those random games where he goes off, and I know it's been 2 straight good games for him. But Johnson, it's been almost every game for the past, it's 7 games in a row. Not in a row. There's one where he didn't score, but then he scored 2 touchdowns to make up for it. 7 touchdowns in 7 games. I'm going Johnson. Sorry, didn't stump us there. Sorry, Ashley. All right, Henry Odom. Yeah. What's up, Henry? And Njoku, Freiermuth, or Juwan Johnson? Get a lot of Juwan Johnson questions.
Oh, man.
Why? Because I mentioned him in the waiver wire video.
Can I bench Njoku for Johnson? That's what I'm debating right now. Can I bench Njoku for Johnson?
Yeah, I think Freiermuth is third of this group. Njoku, we don't feel great about him, but do you feel better about Johnson?
That's the thing. Njoku did have a nice game with Watson 2 weeks ago. But it's the Saints. They're really tough on tight ends also. They're like one of the toughest. I'm going Johnson. All
right. Good, because I'm going Johnson too. Look, maybe he doesn't score a touchdown, but he's still getting targeted even so. I feel like we've seen Johnson been lately kind of putting up similar numbers to Njoku for the most part. Can't feel great about the Browns this week. I mean, have we felt great about the Browns at all this season? So I'll go Johnson. And then Luis, back again. Not mentally prepared to play Swift again. You are not wrong. Chris, how do you treat Swift this week?
With McKinnon and Stevenson on your bench?
Stevenson should never be on your bench.
I would rank these guys Stevenson, McKinnon, and Swift if that's what you're asking. But look, I will say this about Swift. I don't hate Swift this week. He got 8 carries. Okay, that's not great, but he had 50-something yards on those 8 carries. What are we doing, Detroit? You have a guy running for 50 yards on 8 touches and another guy running for barely 30 on 13 touches. What are we doing, Lions? And he also had 9 targets. Name me a running back who gets 9 targets and bombs usually. Usually running backs get 9 targets, have monster games. So I still feel okay about Swift this week, but I would rank him Stevenson, McKinnon, and Swift.
Yeah, if you're saying Ramondre is on your bench, you've got to make that switch. Ramondre is a must start now. If you guys saw the running back video, start sit. And then, I would definitely play McKinnon over Swift. All right, and then Anthony, another one. Dalton Schultz or Evan Ingram?
Schultz.
Yeah, we've been saying Schultz. You don't know. There's been a lot of times we're high on Schultz. We're saying you got to start him, and he doesn't come through. How many tight ends have come through for you?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the nature of the position, man. It's brutal. Unless you have Travis Kelce, it's brutal.
Jack McDougal, T-Law or Geno?
I think I got to go Geno in a better matchup against the Chiefs. Higher scoring game. I'm going to go Geno.
Lawrence has been obviously really good, but you cannot ignore the matchup. It's on the road against the Jets Thursday night. Lawrence also is questionable. I think he'll play, but he's been banged up a little bit. I go with the matchup. The game script should be good enough for Geno to put up points. And in that case, stack Zay or Goodwin. Do you go Goodwin over Zay because you got Geno?
Not because I have Geno. I'm not going to do it just to try to get the stack. If you're in DFS, sure, because you're just, in DFS you're trying to hit, the absolute nuts. But But I do like Goodwin this week, but he's certainly risky. But so Zay is risky too this week. So
Right.
I might just go with Goodwin. Maybe I'm too high on Goodwin. Maybe Goodwin is going to be this week's Chris Moore. Right? Last week I was so high on Chris Moore and he just did okay. Maybe that's going to be Goodwin this week.
Yeah, well, look, I'm in the same boat as you, and I would, again, not just to get a stack, but because these guys are so close anyways, I would just go with Goodwin because, look, if Geno goes off, Goodwin's probably going to do something, and if T-Law doesn't, then vice versa. So I think in this case, it is smart to stack because of your situation. This maybe not so much. John Maloli, am I crazy to start Sam Darnold instead of Dak Prescott?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I mean, Dak Prescott could be playing the 85 Bears. I'm still starting him over Sam Darnold.
So would I. Yeah. Stick with Dak. Don't overthink it. It's not a start your studs thing. It's a you don't need to be starting Sam Darnold over.
Yeah, it's don't start Sam Darnold.
And then Blake M, new to the show. Welcome, Blake. Glad you're with us. Already mentioned all these things. Look in the description. Join us on Discord and a lot of other ways. But anyways, Minshew or Goff?
I think I'm going Minshew. He's got the better matchup against Dallas. I know you think like, oh, Dallas has a good defense, but they haven't been lately. They've been awful. And he's also got, he's in the better situation in that offense. Goff so bad on the road. I'm not starting Goff.
Yeah. I'd go Minshew. Can't feel good about Goff. 3 passing touchdowns in road games this year total. No upside. Antonio Gibson is with us, and he's wanting to know, would you put McKinnon or Dalvin Cook?
Actually, you said, do you punt them? I'm punting Dalvin Cook. I'm a big McKinnon fan. I'm not going to punt him. Look,
yeah, I know you like McKinnon better.
I do like McKinnon, but I'm not putting him in over Dalvin Cook. I mean,
no,
Dalvin Cook got a great matchup against the Giants at home. Yeah, I'm playing Dalvin Cook.
Definitely playing Dalvin Cook. Run CMC run. I think this is Julio, right? One of our patrons.
What's up?
All right. Would you sit AJ Brown if Hurts is out and it's Minshew?
No, I'm not gonna straight out sit him. It depends on your other options, of course, but I'm not sitting him.
No,
just because of that.
And then Jesus Sosa needs to stream a quarterback. Another Hurts question. Minshew, Pickett, Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson, Tannehill, or Purdy?
Man.
I mean, if these are the options, I'd probably just go Minshew.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning, actually, was Minshew. I mean, he's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devonta Smith. He's got probably Goddard. He's got a great coach who will get the best out of him. Dallas, I'm going Minshew.
Go Minshew and hope for the best. Kyle Burks plays Denver, Tennessee, Cleveland, or Tampa Bay at defense. We had a similar question earlier. In fact, maybe the same question. We go Tampa Bay, right? Of this group.
I don't think we had all these guys in here, but I probably still do go Tampa Bay against third string quarterback Trace McSorley. That's probably where I would go.
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay. I like Denver. Not gonna lie, that's a really good option, but I think I have Tampa Bay a little bit over them because the quarterback situation. Free win 420, and this time with a super chat. All right. So, Justin Fields or Geno Smith?
Gotta go Fields. I can't bench Fields, unless you have Mahomes, Josh Allen, maybe Jalen Hurts who plays, guys like that. Like way too much upside, 70-yard touchdown at any moment. He could rip off. I'm going Fields.
And look, Justin Fields just had a really tough matchup last week, and what did he do? He didn't care. He ran all over the place.
Yeah.
And he was actually even not bad throwing the ball despite having almost nobody to throw to. Yeah, it's Fields for sure for me. And then Kittle or Ingram, well, here's that question again.
I'm going Ingram. I know. I just feel better about Ingram. I just really feel like this is going to be a Kittle letdown week. I just don't see a lot of passing in this game for the 49ers.
And look, it very well could be. It could be a down game for Kittle. I would still go Kittle just because I know what the upside is. I mean, maybe if you feel like you just want the safe play, you go Ingram because of however things shake out. But I don't know. In this case, I wouldn't bench Kittle for Ingram. I'm not expecting a big Kittle week. I'm just going to say that. But also not expecting a big Ingram week. I think that's the problem. All right. And welcome back to Ramu Chalasani. In full PPR, 2 running backs. We got Pollard, Najee, Swift. McKinnon is still on waivers. Okay. Who do you start?
I'm grabbing McKinnon and I'm going Pollard and McKinnon.
McKinnon over Najee.
I am. Just more upside. I like Najee this week, but he doesn't have that like week winning upside that McKinnon has. And McKinnon gets Seattle this week. Again, maybe this is the week where he comes back down to earth. But man, it's a great matchup again. I don't see why you wouldn't. So if you don't get McKinnon, then Pollard and Najee.
Yeah, I think you still kind of have to start Pollard, even though it's Philly. He's been too good. He's got game-breaking ability. I think you have to start Pollard. I think you definitely want to pick up McKinnon. Man, for me, it's tough between Najee and McKinnon. I really like Najee this week, but like you said, is he the kind of guy who could have a week like McKinnon had? No, probably not. So, I mean, I hate to have Najee on my bench this week, but you're right. I probably would go McKinnon. All right, receiver. We got Jefferson, Waddle, Higgins, and Watson. Pick 2 and a flex.
I think you got to bench Watson out of this group. I mean, you're obviously never benching Jefferson. We saw what Waddle can do, right? He can one play and all of a sudden his entire day is made. Higgins is just a stud. Got Burrow. I think you got to, out of this group, I think you got to bench Watson.
Yeah, this week it's easier. I do remember because obviously, Ramu, you're with us almost every week. And last week, this was a really tough decision. We're like, is T. Higgins going to play? We don't know. Is Waddle going to be good? He's been bad. Well, this week it's pretty easy. You start Waddle, you start Higgins, of course, Jefferson. And then, would you drop Andrews for Chig?
Oh, man.
I would.
I don't think so. I mean, it's not like Chig has been tearing it up. He's just been like Andrews gets you 6, Chig gets you 10. I know people say this all the time, like, oh, I lost by 3 if I would have started Chig over Andrews. Like, I guarantee you that's not why you lost. Like, yes, it's easy to look at that because you say I lost by 3, and no, I guarantee you there's your opponent had some random guy, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of decision isn't usually what costs you your matchup. So I'd rather just hold Andrews and hope Lamar comes back and he gets better.
I mean, you really hope Lamar does come back. I can't feel great about it based on the fact that he wasn't practicing, but yeah, I would stick with Andrews. I mean, it really is a good matchup for him anyways this week. Maybe Huntley gets him the ball. Who knows? Crazy things happen. I think you got to keep with Andrews, though. All right, so New York to Florida Jets fan. Lost JT. Do you like Moss, Deion Jackson, or James Cook?
I think out of this group, I would gamble with Deion Jackson against the Chargers. I'm not super high on Deion Jackson this week, but we know he'll catch passes. He certainly looked better than Zach Moss. It's a good matchup. I know James Cook had that touchdown, but he only had 8 touches in that game. He had 3 catches, 5 carries. It wasn't like it wasn't like we saw a couple weeks ago where he had a bunch of touches. He barely was involved. I'm going to go Deion Jackson. I'm going to gamble on Deion Jackson out of this group.
And look, the Colts do get the Chargers, which have been really bad run defense this year. I think Jackson is the guy. He's the one who's going to be the pass catching back, not Moss. He's just better than Moss as a runner, so I'm going Deion Jackson. I think he's actually kind of a sneaky start this week. Obviously, you lost JT. You got no choice. You're going to have to pivot. All right, and then Johnson or TJ. If we're talking about TJ Hawkinson, I think you got it, Hawkinson.
Yeah, got to be Hawkinson. I know he's kind of let down, but still, going with Hawkinson.
And then I'm trying to figure Pitt, Wilson, and JJ. Pittman, Garrett Wilson, and JJ. Okay.
Okay.
Ride Kirk Cousins or Tua?
That's got to be Cousins, right? It's got to be Cousins. He's on fire. He's at home. He's got this guy named Justin Jefferson, who last time I checked is pretty good at football. It's got to be Cousins.
It does. It has to be Cousins. Not a bad spot for Tua going against Green Bay, but yeah, Cousins has been on fire. It's definitely not a bad spot for them against Giants defense. Yeah, I think it's got to be Cousins. All right, let's get to Jason. What's up, Jason? Good evening. All right, waiver wire priority number 1. Who should I grab? Zach Moss, Zay Jones, or anybody else?
Well, it's hard to say without knowing exactly who's on your waiver and your team, because, it would come down to, like when I was talking to my friend, I was like, look, there's probably nobody we're going to add this week that we're going to play. But like a guy like Tyler Algier, who has a great matchup next week, and I already figure who they play again, even though you told me who they played like an hour ago, I already forget it again. But I know they have a great matchup next week. So we're gonna drop all the rest of our fab to get Tyler Algier, because of course the goal is we're playing next week. If we're not, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. So like I would probably say if these are your choices, I would go with Zay Jones, especially if you don't need him this week, because you tough spot this week. But next week he might be a guy you throw in your lineup with a ton of upside. Zach Moss just only in standard scoring.
Even then, look, if they don't happen to get out to a huge lead, which again, not gonna predict that happens, we could see Zach Moss get like 5 carries. Like that wouldn't surprise me. So go Zay Jones. Don't love him this week, but you got that priority. He could be a guy who has a huge game, have his huge game next. Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously we don't know who else you got on waivers, but is there any guy that you would like better than Zay Jones? Jerick McKinnon would be the only one. I don't know if there's another guy.
McKinnon was somehow still out there for sure. Again, based on team needs, if you need a running back and you don't need a running back, I mean, even Algier is still playable this week because we know he's going to get the volume and he could always score. But I would definitely be looking at Algier because, again, next week,
Arizona,
there it is. Smash matchup.
But looking ahead, Zay Jones next week gets Houston.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, between the two, I would rather have Zay Jones. Don't play him this week, probably. Yeah. You probably don't need him this week. And then next week, because you're going to be playing next week, then you can play him.
At this point, you use it. I mean, you're not using that waiver wire priority next week.
Yeah, there's only 4 teams. Next week, there's only going to be 2 teams left. It's like, who cares if you have the number 1 priority or not?
All right, there you go. All right, before we get back to the super chats, do this one. Fruit. Happy holidays. Thank you. You too. All right. Is Trevor Lawrence a good start against the Jets D?
I mean, he's better than a lot of the guys I think we've talked about, like Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Jared Goff. Look, I'm probably going to have to play Trevor Lawrence in a league where I lost Kyler Murray. And then I picked up Deshaun Watson, and he did nothing. I don't love it because it's the Jets. But, I mean, it's either that or I'm going to be playing like Derek Carr or Daniel Jones or Ryan Tannehill. So, yeah. I mean, he's on fire lately. He's better than probably the other options you got.
Yeah. Good. He's a good, not great start. He's not going to put up numbers like he did last week because the Jets aren't going to put up points like the Cowboys can put up points. So he's fine. Look, again, out of all the quarterback options, this is why it hurts so much if you lose Hurts, because you're looking at these options like, man, you had the number 1 guy, the top quarterback, and now you're having to pivot to somebody else. So yeah, I think Lawrence is fine. And then can you trust Hollywood against Tampa, possibly with Trace McSorley or Colt McCoy? Like the best case scenario is Colt McCoy.
Not really. I would like to not have to trust him. I mean, he's a better option than guys like, I don't know, who are some guys that, like, he's a better option than, say,
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods, yes, definitely. Guys like that. Adam Thielen.
I was saying Robert Woods, but like Josh Palmer.
Better than Josh Palmer, yeah.
Like John Dotson.
Yeah. But he's definitely like not a guy you have to start, that's for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't start Hollywood if I could help it. But it depends who else you got. Okay. Let's see what we got next. David C. Thank you. We appreciate that. Half PPR. Need a flex. Dobbins, Rashad White, Christian Watson, Garrett Wilson, or Amari Cooper.
I'm still going Christian Watson, especially in half PPR. That hurts White. Cooper, it should be Cooper, but ever since Deshaun came back, I can't feel great about Cooper. Wilson is like fine, but he's just fine. Dobbins, again, another guy. I got to go Watson. I'm going with the upside of Watson.
And this really should be Amari Cooper, but it can't
should.
be.
Yes, it absolutely should.
It's not there. It looks like it's not there. And again, the weather, just another reason. Like, that's not the determining factor. It's the fact that Deshaun Watson hasn't been very good and Cooper with him hasn't been good. So I'll say no to him. Yeah, definitely not Rashad White. Garrett Wilson because of Zach Wilson. Maybe Dobbins over Watson. Honestly, it might go Dobbins because it's half PPR. It's not full PPR. I could see Dobbins outscoring Watson. If it's my team,
I'm outscoring them, but I could see I couldn't see if they both reached their max, I could not see Dobbins outscoring them. Like if Watson had a down game again, I could see Dobbins. I mean, look, Dobbins just had 120 yards and a touchdown 2 weeks ago, and Christian Watson outscored him in 4 straight games prior to that. Like, he does not have the ceiling of Christian Watson. He just doesn't.
But this past week, Dobbins outscored him.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if they both hit their ceiling, like if they both do what they, their ceiling, then it's Watson. But yes, I mean, Dobbins probably has a higher floor. Yes.
I mean, look, the way I think this Green Bay Miami game is going to kind of play out, I think it's going to be a little bit more active on the ground. I feel a big Aaron Jones game. I think defenses now are going to make an effort just to take Watson out. They've seen it happen over and over again. They're like, okay, just don't let him get deep. It's kind of like the Tyreek Hill effect, right? Sometimes you're like, why? How did Tyreek Hill do nothing? Because they put like 5 safeties back there just to stop him. Like, they don't care about the underneath stuff. I think I'm actually going to go Dobbins for this one. But I get it. Like, I get Watson. All right. And then starters, Fields, Jefferson, Tyreek, Barkley, Walker, and Juwan. I think you're good there. We're not going to switch anything out. You got Barkley and Walker.
Not benching any of those guys. That's for sure.
Okay. Good luck. Yeah. I think you with that squad, man. Yeah. You got Jefferson, Tyreek, Barkley. Yeah. You should be good. You should be good. All right, and then Brandon, sorry about that. Brandon Malone. Have Hurts. Could need a streamer. Carr, Minshew, or Purdy?
I guess I got to go Minshew if he plays.
I can't like Carr.
Can't trust Carr. And then Purdy, Purdy has been fine. But he's being asked to do so little. And this is a game where they, at least last week against the Seahawks, it's like the Seahawks can put up a fight and their offense can score and move the ball. I don't think Taylor Heineke is going to be able to move the ball very much against. They barely could do anything against the Giants. What are they going to do against a 49ers defense? I think you got to go Minshew.
Don't love it. I would go Minshew also. Again, Purdy, I'm going crazy about how good he's been. He's been good in real life, like not amazing. He's been good in real life. He's been just okay in fantasy, not doing anything amazing. Go Minshew. And then on the defensive side, Dallas or Baltimore?
Baltimore versus Atlanta. I think it's got to be Baltimore. Desmond Ridder. He didn't even run as much as we had hoped for, right? He wasn't breaking off big runs or anything. looking like a rookie quarterback, it's got to be Baltimore.
It's definitely Baltimore. This Baltimore defense has become legit. They were terrible in the first half of the season, and now they've definitely clamped down. Adding Smith obviously helped, but look, even if Minshew starts and people are worried, okay, if Philadelphia is not going to put up as many points, they'll still be fine. I think they'll still be fine. Don't forget, Dallas defense the last 2 weeks hasn't looked as good, so I'm going Baltimore definitely. All right, and you're welcome and good luck. Then we got Carlos Valdez behind 20. Okay, is this like a 2-week thing? I'm guessing it's a 2-week thing.
Must be. Okay.
All right. So pick 2 in full PPR. We need 2, 2, 1, and a flex of whoever's left. Got Waddle. Yeah. Devontae Smith, DPJ, Zay Jones. Is it Waddle and Smith?
So 2 wide receivers. Yeah, Waddle and Smith.
Eckler, Connor, Sanders, Etienne.
This is actually, I mean, definitely Eckler, of course, but this is actually close between Connor and Sanders for me.
Yeah.
It's like the one guy who's getting 90% of the snaps, every single running back touch, going to get dump offs, but has a really tough matchup. Or the guy who has the better matchup in the way better offense, who's the better player, honestly, but who you never know. You never know if he's going to get the ball or not. Like what happened last game? Like, he didn't even get the ball. He got the ball like once in the entire first half or something. It was crazy. Like what did they just forget they even had Miles Sanders? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's I don't know. Man.
Well, okay, look, let me see if this makes a difference. So we'll look ahead, and then we're going to go back to this, because then the tight end question is Andrews or Goddard.
I'm definitely going Goddard there.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured, because Lamar doesn't look like he'll be back. I guess let me ask you this: if Lamar plays, do you go Andrews?
I'm still going Goddard. You don't need to risk it with Andrews.
All right. So then if you're looking, I'm looking at this now, the whole big picture here. You got Devontae Smith, you got Goddard, and you got Miles Sanders. You're going really Eagles heavy. Are you okay with that? Or does that change your decision? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, just go Connor.
Well, but you know what? He also does have a flex.
Right.
So I might just play Connor and Sanders.
Yeah, because you don't love DPJ or Zay Jones. So in this case, usually, and it is full PPR, usually you flex a receiver. Maybe not in this case, because you don't love the Browns. DPJ this week, Zay Jones in a tough spot. So you're right.
Yeah. I think I go like Eckler, Connor at running back, Goddard at tight end, and then Sanders in the flex, or whatever, however you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So you got Waddle, Smith, Eckler, Connor, Goddard, and then flexing Sanders. That's the real question. That's going to be really tricky. If Lamar Jackson does play, to benchmark Andrews, that would be interesting. Okay, what about this one? Because we're on the topic. Jared Simmons in PPR, Mark Andrews or Darren Waller?
If Lamar is back, I'll go Andrews. Otherwise, I'll go Waller.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with that. If Andrews is still catching passes or not catching passes from Tyler Huntley, just go with Waller. I don't even love Waller this week. Buddy P. Moon, with a very good question. Is Hollywood droppable because he kind of wants to pick up Madison to block somebody else from getting that handcuff?
I mean, the problem is next week they get, I think, Atlanta. Yeah, they get Atlanta. And Colt McCoy, it's a concussion, right?
Yeah.
So if Colt McCoy is back next week and Hollywood's playing Atlanta, and let's say, Dalvin Cook gets through this week unscathed, and now you're never going to use Alexander Madison, and neither is the person who picked him up. How are you going to feel if, let's say your opponent picks up Hollywood because you dropped him? I don't think so. Is there somebody else you can drop from Madison?
Well, and the thing too, I know, look, we've been talking for a while, especially right before the playoffs a few weeks ago. We did that handcuff video talking about these are the running backs you want just in case. But when you got 1 week left in the season, it's not really heading against the bet that maybe Cook gets hurt this week. Like, he's made it through the season. Having that handcuff isn't as important. And with it, JT, like, look what happened to Jonathan Taylor. Well, Jonathan Taylor was already hurt mid-season. Like, this is not the first time. So, like, I understand wanting Madison, but at this point, I'm like, you know what? If you're going to still use Hollywood potentially next week, I would hold on to Hollywood. Now, if you're never playing Hollywood, if he's like your fourth, fifth receiver, or like you got studs and you're just not going to play him, well, then I guess just drop him. But like you said,
but even then, it would only I would only drop him if like the other teams, like in the other matchup, have no use for Hollywood. Because again, like, what if one of those teams needs a flex? And you drop Hollywood, and they add Hollywood, and they win this week, and then next week Colt McCoy is back, and they're rolling Hollywood in their flex against you against Atlanta. Because look,
it's Atlanta
with Colt McCoy against Atlanta, Hollywood is going to be at least startable kind of guy. Whereas Madison is only going to be startable and usable if Dalvin Cook gets hurt this week. He has to get hurt this exact week. Like, you're banking on Dalvin Cook getting hurt this week. So I don't want to do that. There's got to be somebody else that you have that, like, you could drop.
Yeah, I don't think Madison at this point is a must add. But you're right, because it's Atlanta next week. That makes Hollywood playable, I think, probably no matter who the quarterback is. All right, let's get back to the super chats. Benny Black has Dak, Jacobs, Ramondre, Chase Hill, Chig, and putting claims for 2 other tight ends. Okay, and I think that's fine. I don't think you need both, but maybe just in case you don't get one.
Yeah.
If I get Deion Jackson, would you start him or Christian Watson?
No, I'm going Christian Watson. I'm not giving up on Christian Watson already. Like,
no.
Yeah. No, and not for Deion Jackson. No.
Yeah, not for Deion Jackson. Look, and you'll find out in one of the videos coming out pretty soon in the next couple of days. I think Jackson is kind of a good sneaky start, but there's nothing sneaky about Christian Watson at this point. Like, I would definitely go with Watson over him. And you're good everywhere else. I mean, obviously, man, you got a really good lineup. Yeah. What do you think about the tight end thing, though? Juwan and Knox and Chig, like, who would you prefer? I think Juwan, maybe?
Yeah. Juwan, if you get him, definitely.
All right. Answered this earlier, but let's get it out there again. Mickey wants to know, with the crazy weather, would it be better to go kicker in a dome? Yes.
Probably.
And in fact, one league where I think I have Harrison Butker, which we're worried about, I dropped him. I picked up, I think it was Greg Joseph, Minnesota kicker. Obviously, the Vikings playing in a dome. So, yeah, you definitely this week for sure. And especially, look, it's the playoffs. You don't want to be stuck with a 0 from your kicker or a 1 or a 2. Get a guy from a team that has been kicking field goals semi-regularly. You can't predict it, but there are offenses that are less effective in the red zone, but also aren't just terrible offenses. You know what I mean? So go with teams like that. The Colts are a good example. You saw what McLaughlin did last week. The Vikings just put up points, right? They put up points. So that's why I went with Joseph. And then we have Son of San 210. 210. That's the San Antonio area code. I wonder if you're near where I am at. Okay, so I'm trying to look for the comment/question. It's down here at the bottom. Chris, if you happen to see it, let me know because I don't see it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I see it.
Okay.
You did pay, and that's why we're getting your question now. All right. Welcome, by the way. Yeah, new to us. So here we go. Olave, White, Akers, Goddard, Montgomery for flex.
Well, it should be Olave, but you can't anymore. I mean, less than half the snaps, 4 targets last week. I don't know what's like. I don't understand. It's like Olave was playing incredible, and then the Saints were like, he's playing really well. Maybe we should play him less. Like, literally, like, really, that's like what is going on? Like, what? Like what? And it's not like they had like their star receiver come back. They don't have anybody. Like it really feels like the Saints are trying their hardest to lose football games right now. They're doing everything they can, like everything backwards. Anyways, can't play him. White, no upside with White. I know it's a good matchup, but with Lenny there, they just cannibalize each other. Akers just had a great matchup, did very little. Now he gets a tough matchup. No. Goddard at tight end, maybe, but for me, it's Montgomery, right? He's the one, looked good last week, gets the volume, gets the usage, catches some passes. I think out of this group, I'm going Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm going to go Montgomery too, because like you said, still going to be involved pretty heavily. I know people are worried about Khalil Herbert. Like, oh, he's been activated. Doesn't mean he's playing this week. He's been cleared to practice. And so there's no guarantee he actually plays in the game yet. Goddard is a good option. But again, we're talking about tight end. I think I still got to go with Montgomery. It looked really good last week, by the way. So it's Monty in this case. Look, let me just say this with the whole Olave thing and the Kamara thing. Of all the coaches who will get fired and some who should get fired, a lot of people really aren't talking much about Dennis Allen in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I think he needs to go. It's pretty obvious. He's been a coach before. He's one of these guys, like, good coordinator, not so much head coach. Like, how do you screw up this offense this bad? I don't know. That was my low range. Okay. Chris Poo 44. Goff or Cousins? I think that's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, definitely got to go Cousins. Definitely Cousins. I'm not starting Goff if I don't have to.
I mean, it would maybe if Goff was at home, this would be a question, but it's definitely Cousins the way Cousins is playing. And Goff on the road, you really don't want any part of it. So it's easily Cousins. Easily. Okay. Not sure what that means. Let's go to another question from Chris. Chig or Knox?
I would just gamble on the Knox touchdown. Chig is fine. Chig is nice. But especially if Burks is back, you got to think that hurts Chig a little bit. I would just gamble on Knox keeping this touchdown run going. I'll go with Knox.
Yeah, in this case, I go Knox. And look, Chig has been fine, but I keep saying, if Burks is back, I do like Traylon Burks. That's probably going to put a little dent into Chig's target share. So in this case, I go Knox. And then I got to put this up. James Biggs, who's with us from the UK. I think, I don't know, what time is it there right now? It's probably like 1:30 in the morning, maybe 2. I don't know. All right. So what is up, James? Have Kittle, Schultz, and Goddard now coming back. You are somehow stacked at tight end. Played Schultz last week and he busted. What do you do this week?
Yeah, I'm glad you're still going because Kittle, that hurts with Schultz. But I go Goddard this week. They activated him early this week. I think he'll be good to go. And look, it's probably going to be Minshew. As much as we all want it to be Hurts, except for the people playing Jalen Hurts, it's going to probably be Minshew. I think that just makes Goddard's value go up even more. I like Schultz this week, but I'm not benching Goddard. I'm going Goddard.
Yeah, I know I was saying it's hard to keep Kittle on your bench, but when you have two other, top 5 tight ends, I mean, sure, I can bench Kittle this week because of the matchup. Goddard would seem like the riskier play, but I don't care. It's tight end. I'm going to go with the riskier play. I'm going to go with Goddard because his upside is probably better than Schultz. And I'm actually kind of proud of myself now, James. With another question, we'll answer it, but I think I nailed it. He said it's 2:25 a.m. there. This is a little delayed because we're a few minutes behind, but it's pretty good. All right. So James is a night owl, kind of like I am. Have Henry, needs to choose 2 running backs: Dobbins, Murray, Pirine, and Rachaad White, or Algier.
No, not Algier this week against Baltimore. I'll go Dobbins out of this group. Yeah, not chasing that big Murray game last week.
But we need 2.
Oh, we need 2.
We need 2. Dobbins is the obvious one, I think.
Yeah.
You go Algier over Murray. You can't start Pirine.
Can't start Pirine. Like White, it's a good matchup, but man, you just don't know. You just don't know that backfield split.
It's kind of close. I really don't want to put Murray in my lineup, and it's not a good spot for him either against the Rams.
Yeah, I'd probably add Algier and play him. And if for some reason you don't get Algier, I mean, I guess then I'd go Murray.
You got to start Dobbins. Man. I might. In this case, I might start Algier. In this case, I might. I don't know. I think I'll have Algier ahead of Murray this week. Rashad White is the one I'm kind of not sure about, never quite sure. But look, what's his ceiling at this point? That's the problem. So
yeah,
I might go Algier. All right, and then there's a super chat here from O-Rod. Who to start? Tight end, 2 running backs, 2 flexes. You got Dalvin Cook, you got Walker, Pollard, and Harris. So 2 running backs from that group.
I think you got to go Cook and Walker. I mean, I like Pollard, but Kenneth Walker against the Chiefs. I think you got to go Walker and Cook. Well, you could obviously flex Pollard. I think I flex Pollard and Higgins. Those are my flexes, Pollard and Higgins. Already talked about Olave. Can't really start him. Najee I do like, but not more than those. Like Pollard has way more upside than Najee. Got to go Pollard, I think. And then at tight end, I'm going Schultz.
Yeah, Schultz is the better play there. You have start Cook. Yeah, I think because it's Philly, I think I'll put Pollard behind Walker this week. I mean, Walker, you know what he can do. One cut and go. I'll go Cook and Walker at running back. You got to start Higgins, of course. That's the flex. The other flex spot, I mean, for me, it's not Olave. It's between Harris and Pollard. I think, yeah, I guess you got to go Pollard. I can't put Pollard behind Harris. I hate keep having to say Najee on the bench, but
yeah.
I mean, you got good runs.
You missed a super chat apparently from Heisenberg.
Oh, sorry, Heisenberg. All right, so Christian Kirk or Devontae Smith at the flex. I'm not sure how it is. There's always exactly one super chat that somehow like gets skipped.
I think I still got to go Smith. He's got the better matchup against Dallas. I think he'll be okay either way. Christian Kirk against the Jets. I mean, look, maybe he comes through for you against the Jets, but I mean, Amon-Ra couldn't really come through against the Jets. I mean, he did okay, right? He did okay, but yeah, I'm going Smith.
Going Smith. Again, it's not like his value is just totally decimated with Minshew. Obviously, the upside isn't quite there, but you still think he's playable. We never know what we're getting from Kirk. We never know. And it's definitely not a great spot for Kirk this week. All right, but sorry about that, Heisenberg. I know you're with us most of the time for our shows. We got one from King Cannon. Let me go back because I think I saw your question back here. There it is. All right. Start Justin Fields no matter what.
I mean, not no matter what, but your options better be like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Who else?
Maybe Burrow, but I didn't even like Fields over Burrow this week.
Yeah. You're pretty much starting Fields no matter what.
Yeah. Unless you have a top 5 quarterback, in which case you're probably not asking. Yeah, it's Justin Fields for sure. I mean, I think he is a top 5 quarterback even this week. All right, now what do you do with Gallup?
See, Gallup is a guy. So going back to that question earlier about dropping Hollywood for Madison, I would drop Gallup for Madison. Not that I'm like banking on Dalvin Cook getting hurt this week, but I'm just never going to start Gallup. And if my opponent wants to start Gallup, good for them. Go for it. Start Michael Gallup. Take the chance that this is the week he catches 2 random touchdowns or something. So you can drop Gallup is what I would say. But yeah, I mean, don't start Gallup.
Yeah, we see Noah Brown get more points than Gallup. We've seen all sorts of people in the Cowboys get involved. Gallup he's droppable at this point. He hasn't been bad. He's just obviously going to take some time before he gets 100%. Yeah, I think You don't have to drop him, but I think he's droppable. All right, and then we got Chiggy or Juwan Johnson from the Saints. I think we both like Johnson better this week.
Yeah, Johnson better. Just he's got the touchdown upside, more upside.
And then you're saying AJ Dillon and Tyler Algier. I mean, I guess you're asking us to pick between the two.
Yeah, if you're asking us to pick, this is tough. Like, do we trust this Dillon that we're seeing? Like, do we just have to ride it now? We just have to say, like, hey, I feel like the last time we did this, we got really badly burned.
I remember that. Yeah. In this case, probably go. I mean, because with Dillon, here's the thing: he's still not getting a ton of volume. It's touchdowns, right? And scoring touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was getting a little bit of volume last night before the concussion, but yeah, definitely touchdowns is a big thing.
But yeah, I would probably prefer Algier. And yeah, gotta defend the belt for sure. For sure, one championship is never enough. All right, Top G Barber. Do you think it's better to play KJ Osborne after that game or Zay Jones with a tough matchup?
Oh. Yeah, this is actually, this is the decision I don't want, because it should be Zay, but he's playing the Jets. Because look, Osborne has done nothing all year long, like nothing. And then 2 weeks ago he scored a touchdown, and then last week he went nuts. Like, it's very hard for me to just all of a sudden be like, well, now you got to play this guy who did nothing for 14 weeks versus a guy who's really, I mean, Zay Jones, it's not just 5 great games. Zay Jones has been great a lot this season. He's had a lot of really good games this season.
It's just, what are we getting from Osborne? Do you trust him? I mean, he'll have a big game once in a while, but sometimes it's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you trust Osborne? He's done nothing all year. He was a guy I liked before the season too. Like, Thielen's old, and he is, but he wasn't doing anything. Osborne hasn't done anything all year, and then all of a sudden, a touchdown 2 weeks. Like I said, a touchdown 2 weeks ago. Still only caught 5 passes. Had like 30 yards. They went off last week, of course, but the Colts were missing their starting slot corner. Giants, not a great matchup, right? It's not like this is a great, matchup for him. I think I would still go with Zay and just hope that Lawrence-Zay Jones connection is there. And he doesn't face, he only faces Sauce maybe a part of the game, not the whole game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Zay Jones here too. I could easily see Osborne busting, doing hardly anything. So, yeah, you can't expect a lot from Zay Jones, but in this case, I would at least expect something. And then Jay Drummer Kid says we might have skipped a super chat. Didn't see it, but we'll get to the question anyways. We're getting near the end, by the way, guys. Got a little bit of time. We're going to get to all the super chats and then do a few more questions toward the end. So if you have waiver wire questions, especially try to answer those before tonight. If you have start sit, that's fine. But also remember, Friday night, we're going to be doing start sit Friday evening because Saturday is going to be full of football, which is a good thing. All right. So going after waivers, Algier and Dotson. I think those are good choices.
Yeah.
Would you switch anything in your lineup? Mahomes, Devontae, Sun God, Ramondre, Swift, Kelsey, and Mike Evans. But you also got Christian Watson, Singletary, and Rashad White.
Adams, Sun God. No, I'm not switching them out. Ramondre, Swift. No, I'm not playing White or Singletary over those guys. I'd still rather have Swift.
Would you put? Well, I think the only question might be Watson or Evans.
I think I'd go Evans.
I think so.
Got to be encouraged by what we saw last week. I'm not fully out on Watson, but I think in this case I go Evans.
Evans should be fine. It's a pretty good matchup, right? They get Arizona. Like you saw, Evans was heavily involved in the first half, at least last week, and he's still getting you points. Maybe one of these days he scores a touchdown again. Who knows? I mean, it's got to happen eventually, right? He can't go the rest of the season without scoring, can he?
Yeah. I saw a stat, or I saw a thing. Do you know who has the most touchdowns on the entire Tampa Bay offense? Who has the most
this season?
Or the most receiving touchdowns? Because I think Fournette has the most combined touchdowns, but the most receiving touchdowns.
Is it Russell Gage?
Yes, with 4. Russell Gage leads the Buccaneers in receiving touchdowns, and he's played like 2 full games, 3 full games. What?
And all those touchdowns came in like those 2 games. He had last week, and then like in week 3, he had a big game. That's it.
Yeah. That's just crazy, though. Crazy.
All right, we got Cooper Griffin. We need to pick 3. We got Barkley, Mixon, Etienne, Stevenson. Pick 3. So who do you bench out of that group?
I mean, you got to play Barkley and Stevenson, of course. Like those. You got to play them. And then I still think I give Mixon the nod over Etienne. More chances to score. He catches more passes. I give Mixon the slight edge. It's a tough matchup for him. It's a tough matchup for Etienne too. So I give Mixon the slight edge over Etienne.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be nervous about Mixon, but you're right, because at least he gives you that floor in PPR, chance to score. I go Mixon over Etienne. So Etienne's the guy you bench. Different league now. 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. You got Hill, A.J. Brown, D-Hop, Barkley, Dalvin, Kamara, Swift, and then we'll do quarterback. So we need 2, 2, and a flex.
Okay, well, for the wide receivers, you can bench D-Hop because you got Hill and A.J. Brown. And even if it's Minshew, I mean, I'd still rather have A.J. Brown catching passes from Minshew than D-Hop catching passes from Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
And then for the running backs, I think you got to go Barkley and Cook. You have to.
Cook.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. Like, do you take, crazy. I think this week D-Hop's a floor play.
That's exactly what I was going to say. For floor, you go Hopkins. But
Kamara and Swift have the potential booms. They're the potential booms.
I mean, I can't put Swift over any of these guys. He's just not getting used.
I mean, but isn't that what we've been complaining about Kamara?
He's getting carries at least.
Swift had 5 catches last week. Kamara only had 2. Swift had 9 targets. Kamara only had 2.
Kamara had like 21 carries, and Swift had 5 or something.
8. But yeah, I mean, but carries, it's like great. 96 yards, great. Swift had 50 yards and only 8 carries. Like, Swift had 85 yards last week. But anyways, yeah, I'd probably go Kamara. In my flex.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hopkins just a floor play, sadly, this week.
And then Dak or Fields?
I think you got to go Fields. In this case.
This week you go Fields. I mean, Dak has been solid, but I mean, Philly defense obviously tough. Fields, it's so hard to keep him on your bench. Go Fields and good luck. Robert Alvarez Jr., best defense, and we talked about that a long time ago off waivers. Of course, don't know who is on waivers, but I'll tell you guys, by the way, our videos that we do each and every week, we got the same lineup except, well, we're not doing the early waiver wire video anymore because there's no more early. You can't beat the breakout. It's week 17 next week. So instead of doing that, you're going to see a defense streamers video. But I'll tell you right now, some of the best defenses I like are Tennessee. Pretty obvious why. They play Houston. Pittsburgh. I actually like Pittsburgh a lot this week. They've been solid. And then if Tampa Bay, look, we've seen a couple times people saying Tampa Bay offense is out there, defense, is out there on waivers. I think I would go Tampa Bay over all of those. The return of Shrek 2 on DVD.
So if it's a return, is this Shrek 3?
Yeah, this is like the sequel. Need two
Sequel
running
to the
backs,
sequel.
a flex, and a defense. Chubb, White, Burks, AJD, James Cook, Hilton. Oh, got T.Y. Hilton. Chris Moore, and then we'll do defense afterwards. Okay, so two running backs.
Well, I only see 3 running backs here. So I think, you got to start Chubb.
Yeah.
I think I got to go White over James Cook. I know James Cook scored last week, but again, he had 5 catches and 3 targets. That's it. He didn't get a lot of run last week. Rachaad White still had 11 carries. I know he didn't catch as many passes as we'd like last week, but he's more involved. You got to think against Arizona, he should get his share of work. I think I'm going to go Chubb and White.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing AJ. I think he's got AJ Dillon. Would you go Dillon over White?
Oh, I was thinking AJ Brown. Yeah, I'd probably go Dillon over those guys because at least Dillon has touchdown upside. Those guys don't. Well, I mean, I guess Cook does because he scored last week, but I mean, Nyheim Hines scored last week too. Are we really banking on a game like that again? Yeah, I'll go Chubb and Dillon.
I'll go Chubb and Dillon. Yeah, definitely Chubb with this group. And then who do you flex?
Is that T.Y. Hilton, by the way? Is that the Hilton we're looking at? T.Y. Hilton?
That's the only Hilton I know of.
I mean, Shrek, I love you, man, but he wasn't even active last week. You could drop T.Y. Hilton. You could drop him for something. Anyway,
Drop Hilton.
Burks, if he plays, I'm flexing Burks.
Yeah. Again, check the injury report. Make sure he's active. He should be, but you never know. Concussions can be tricky. So, yeah, I definitely would go Burks to flex. And then defense, Eagles or the Pats. Pats get Cincinnati. Eagles get the Cowboys. So these are actually both bad options. You might want to go back to our defense streamer video.
Yeah, but if I had to choose between these two, I'm going to go with the Eagles because, yeah, I mean, we see Dak will take sacks, Dak will throw INTs. I mean, yeah, but you really don't want either. You really don't want either of these defenses this week.
No, this is a case where forget season standings and stats and whatever. Go with a team that is having the best matchup this week. But yeah, between those two, I go Eagles. Michael O, another one. Okay. So you remember way back a while ago, it was PPC. We were assuming carry. He was point per completion.
Whoa.
Which is even more rare because we were like, is that a thing, point per carry? It is. It's not common, but there are point per carry. There's point per first down. This is point per completion.
Per completion? Patrick Mahomes must score 100 points every week. Actually, you know who's probably a stud in this format? Is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Because he completes a ton of passes every single week. He does, you know what I mean? Because he throws the ball 45 times. Michael, is Tom Brady the QB1 in this format? Probably Mahomes. It's probably Mahomes, actually, because Mahomes completes a ton of passes, too.
I mean, I think I'm still going Fields this week, though.
Yeah, let me see. What did Goff do last week? As far as
The thing is, Fields' rushing upside, it's going to outweigh however many completions, unless we think the Lions get really into pass heavy script, right? He throws it 40 plus times. I don't know. I don't see that with Carolina.
Yeah, how many completions did Goff even have last week? He had 23 completions. What did Fields have? I mean, that's so you're saying that's 20. That's 23 free points. That's insane.
Yeah,
Fields had 14. And in fact, Fields has only hit 20 completions once all year. And he's never gone more than 17 in any other game. So you could be looking at okay, so is the potential 6 to 10 point completion difference, does that make up for the rushing?
I don't think so because I don't feel a high volume passing game from Goff this week. He's just bad. He's not getting touchdowns on the road. And that's the thing. Fields could get you rushing touchdowns. That's worth 2 at Goff. And Goff's probably not going to get you 2. And I think I go with Fields. The rushing upside I think outweighs whatever Goff might do passing wise. I mean, this obviously makes it close where we even have to think about it. But yeah, I'm going
That's
Fields.
crazy. Like, this is a crazy scoring. Like, quarterbacks must just dominate this league. Like, dominate.
Sure. All right. Well, there you go. Alexander Courtney, start 2, sit 1. Cooper, Kirk, Wilson.
Start 2, sit 1. It should so easily be Cooper and Wilson. It should be like no brainer, Cooper and Wilson. Like, you just say, like, oh, Kirk against the Jets, you just easily bench him. And you just roll with Cooper and Wilson, no problem. But Garrett Wilson's stuck with Zach Wilson, and Amari Cooper apparently is stuck with Deshaun Watson. remember like how we were like, just admit, remember like we were talking like, man, if Amari Cooper's doing this with Jacoby Brissett, just wait until Deshaun Watson comes along. And now we're like,
I remember.
Please have Jacoby Brissett back. Can we get Jacoby Brissett back, please?
I mean, I think I like Garrett Wilson the best out of this group.
Yeah. Sadly. I think I probably do still go Cooper and Wilson, and I just avoid the whole Jets thing. And I just hope that maybe this is the week where him and Watson somehow connect. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably go Cooper and Wilson. Good luck with that one. Jose Gonzalez Morales needs 1 running back, 1 receiver, and 1 flex. Got Mike Williams, Christian Watson, Zeke Connor, and Kenneth Walker.
All right, well, your 1 running back is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Your 1 wide receiver is Christian Watson. And now flex is kind of tough. Do we trust Mike Williams against Indy?
I think I trust him enough. I mean, Zeke not in a great matchup. Connor getting the volume, but do we feel a big game from Connor? Do you think maybe he gets so much volume because the passing situation is sketchy?
Well, that's kind of what's been happening, right? He's getting so much volume. Because every week I'm like, oh, this is a terrible matchup. Like, no way am I starting James Conner. And then he gets, 6 catches, 18 carries, and he falls into the end zone once. And you're like, oh, look, 20 fantasy points for James Conner again, or 18 fantasy points for James Conner again. But it is the Patriots. And it is a third string. Not the Patriots. It's who do they have? Who does Arizona have this week again?
Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa. It's Tampa. We know they're a tough run defense.
Well, look, here's the thing with Connor is he's now been catching passes because they really don't have anybody else to do that, right? They don't have a Chase Edmonds there anymore. They don't have, Benjamin. They don't have anybody. He's catching passes. He's kind of bringing that floor too, and he keeps scoring touchdowns. So, yeah, look, my first reaction was I thought Mike Williams, but now I'm looking at the stats. I think maybe it is Connor that you flex.
I think I might go Connor. I mean, he's just got the way higher floor, and he's got a decent ceiling. So I think I'd go Connor too. I mean, can't believe I'm saying it, but it's where we're at.
It's one of those weeks. You love Dobbins. You like Connor. You like DJ Moore. All right, so Kenneth Walker, Christian Watson, and James Conner. Those are your starts, Jose. All right, Robert Alvarez, pick 3. We got Kenneth Walker again, Joe Mixon, James Conner, David Montgomery, or would you bench one to start Godwin over one, like as a flex?
All right, well, yes, I would. I would start Ken Walker, James Conner, and Godwin. I would bench Mixon and Montgomery in this case.
Talked about the gauntlet schedule that Mixon has specifically. Not that the Bengals are effective. Bengals will be fine, but against a run defense, the Patriots, one of the best. Mixon, starting to see some of that work go away because P. Ryan is getting involved. So, yeah, in this case, I would definitely put Connor over Mixon. I might even put Montgomery over Mixon. But anyways, yeah, Walker, Connor, and then go Godwin. Godwin's been really good.
Yeah.
And we have a super chat from Clement Richer. PPR, Geno or Fields?
Definitely Fields.
Fields. I mean, Geno could put up big numbers, but again, without Lockett, harder path. Definitely harder path. And then here we go. Just talked about Mixon or Dobbins.
Oh, man.
It's PPR.
Yeah, it's PPR. I'm trying to look because I know Mixon. Let's see. I mean, he did have 5 catches last week, but, only 11 carries. That's the thing, man. He's right. And then the week before against Cleveland, only 14 carries. I mean, I know he was kind of game scripted out last week, right? Because they were down 17-0 at that. Well, they were 17-3 at the half. They didn't do a lot in the first half, but man, he gets the Patriots. That's even a tougher matchup than the Bucs.
Very tough.
Look, if it's me, I'm still going. I can't bench Mixon for a guy like Dobbins. I'm not that high on Dobbins yet. I'm going Mixon still.
I think I'm going to be that high on Dobbins. I'm going to flex Dobbins if it's me. I know it's PPR, but still, it's the matchup. Mixon has one of the worst possible matchups for a running back. Dobbins has one of the best. Great. Look, until the knee implodes, I'm going to go with him. I'm going Dobbins this week. All right, guys, we have hit that time. It is the hour. So we're going to do one more quick set of lightning round questions, which means we're going to get to some of the regular comments. So we're caught up on super chats, finally, and we'll answer as many as we can. Try to get some about players we haven't talked about. Try to get some waiver wire specifically if we have any at all. So let's start with two-tone. DJ Moore or DJ Chark? Which DJ are you going with?
Definitely DJ Moore. He's got Detroit this week. Definitely DJ Moore.
Definitely DJ Moore. In fact, feeling a little bit good about DJ Moore this week, as you'll see in our videos. Edwin, Zach Moss or Jamal Williams?
Oh, geez. Hard pass.
Again, assuming you have to pick one of these.
I guess Jamal and hope he scores, but I mean, geez, what do you... Yay, he scored. I got 9 points. Whee! But I mean, Zach Moss might do nothing, so I guess Jamal.
Yeah, it's got to be Jamal Williams. I could see Zach Moss not doing anything.
Yeah.
All right, Mitch wants to know Adam Thielen, Brandon Ayuk, Amari Cooper, or not Zach Moss.
How is this not like just smash Amari Cooper? Like, what has happened to this season? But I'm still going Amari Cooper out of this group. Kirk Cousins just threw for 460 yards, 1,000 touchdowns, and Adam Thielen got 4 catches and a touchdown. Like, he wasn't even involved in that. He only scored that touchdown because he was, like, left wide open in the end zone. Like, he's not even a part of this offense, honestly. Brandon Ayuk, very worried about with Purdy. Zach Moss, very worried about. I'm still going Cooper.
Yeah, Thielen, I'm never going to put Thielen over those two guys. Not feeling a big game for Ayuk this week. It's not a great spot. Washington defense is pretty good. So I'll go Cooper, even though I'm not expecting big things. I'm not expecting big things from any of these guys, though, unfortunately. All right, Gorilla Kid, see you. I know you're very desperate. You've been, repeating the question quite a bit. We'll get to it now. We're at the end. Backup quarterbacks and running back injuries have me stressing. Pick 2 and the flex. Chubb, Walker, Singletary, Pacheco, Algier.
These are your flexes?
No, I think those are. He's saying pick 2 of each. I guess these are the 2 running backs. We got to pick 2 of those.
Oh, okay. I'm going Chubb and Walker.
Chubb and Walker. Like Pacheco, but I'm not going to put him over Chubb. All right, so pick 2 now. Receivers: Hopkins, Juju, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, DPJ, Burke, or Deontay.
I think I'm going Hopkins and Juju. Juju's been
over
getting
Watson.
Yeah, only because he's got Mahomes. And look, he before the concussion a few weeks ago, he was playing great, and then he got concussed. And the Chiefs do this thing where when a guy comes back from injury, they give him like 2 or 3 games before they really put him out there full time. The last 2 games he's been out there, Juju's been awesome. Not worried about the matchup because he plays out of the slot. He's got Patrick Mahomes, so you don't really have to care about the matchup because Mahomes will find you. I still like Watson this week, but I'm going Hopkins and Juju, and then I would probably flex Watson.
This is tough. There's a lot of receivers here I like. I mean, we like Deontay Johnson this week, but I can't put him over these guys. You pick Deontay Johnson. I like Burks this week, but I can't put him over those guys. DPJ I can say no to. I agree. I like Juju. And you know what? I think I might go Garrett Wilson over Hopkins, because Hopkins, again, kind of the floor play this week. Wilson gets the Jags. We saw just how much the Jags give up to the Cowboys on offense. I got like Noah Brown go off. Juju had no problems. I might go Juju, Wilson, and then it's either like pick your poison, boom or bust. Yeah, you want the boom play with Watson, or you want the floor play with Hopkins. I guess I'll leave that up to you. You meaning Gorilla Kid. All right. And then let's see a couple more. Which, by the way, guys, as we wrap up here, don't forget there's a lot of ways you can join us. You can join the Discord, link down below in the description. You can join us by becoming a patron, patreon.com/fantasyfootballendgame. Link is also down below. And there's also Did It, which is another new way you can get in contact with us, and we'll give you that information when it comes. All right, DJF Music. Since it seems we can't trust any Browns players, true, who would you use to replace Amari? Goodwin or Gage?
Not Gage.
Nah.
I don't even know if I can put Goodwin in. Like, look, I could totally see us, next week saying like, oh, Amari busted again and Goodwin went off. But I could also see us totally next week being like, oh yeah, Goodwin was a trap. That was a trap. Everybody fell for that trap, like Chris Moore last week, right? Yeah. I think I still got to go with Amari Cooper over these guys. I just got to trust the talent of the player over these guys. I'm going to go with Amari still.
Yeah. Goodwin maybe, but I wouldn't put him over Amari. Like you said, maybe we'll regret it, but who knows? All right, let's see. Gino or Cousins from Gustavo?
I gotta go Cousins. Like, I do like Gino this week, but Cousins at home in a nice, comfy dome with perfect weather, no wind. Justin Jefferson. He's been playing like insane football. I gotta go Cousins.
I mean, besides Cousins putting a massive point total the last couple of weeks, there's something to be said this week where the weather's going to be bad for playing in a nice, cozy dome. So it's not a bad matchup at all. I got to go Cousins. And then just under the gun, our last super chat here by
Zinski. What's up?
Welcome back. All right. So Kirk, speaking of that man, Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott. I don't think it matters if we have JJ and CD, but
yeah, you got the stack either way. I do like Kirk this week, but I still have to put Dak ahead of him. I mean, I'm not expecting this to be another 400-yard game from Kirk Cousins because the Giants defense, I mean, look, you never know, but it's hard to see. Like, maybe they, block a punt for a touchdown again or whatever, but yeah, I'm going Dak.
It's close, but again, I do feel the volume won't be there. Giants don't put up a ton of points. The Giants' run defense is a little worse than their pass defense. I think this could be a good Dalvin Cook week.
Yeah,
I think Cousins is fine, but I'll go with Dak. I think that might be forced. I mean, look, I'm not going to say I'm not nervous about Dak going against Philly defense, but I think the volume will be there. I'll chase the volume, projected volume for Dak. And then just when I said that, we had one more super chat here. Mr. Tresero Cinco. I like that. All right. It's Pitbull in the flesh. No. Got number one waiver pick, Deion Jackson or Moss?
I mean, if these are your choices, Deion Jackson. I'd rather gamble on him. He looks better. He is better. If these are your choices, I'm going Deion.
I'm definitely going Deion Jackson. I'm expecting pretty much nothing from Moss. I know he got more carries last week, but that was just crazily massive positive game script, which will never happen again for the Colts. I think Deion Jackson's just the better player. And if you look, a couple of videos coming out in the next couple of days, I do mention Deion Jackson in one of them, so you can look out for that. And we have to get to this. We actually have a trade question. Yes, some leagues are still trading. Is this a good trade? Josh Palmer and Rachaad White for CeeDee Lamb?
Yes, you're getting a stud wide. Assuming you're getting CeeDee Lamb, you're getting a stud wide receiver for 2 like basically bench pieces. Yes, definitely do that.
CeeDee Lamb, I would definitely take CeeDee Lamb for those 2 guys. Like, even if it was a dynasty league, I'd still rather have CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, for sure. You got like a 23-year-old or 24-year-old wide receiver, stud wide receiver. Yeah, definitely.
And then Byzinski with another. Give me 2. Pollard, Chubb, or K9.
You know what? I think in this case, I will bench Chubb because Kenneth Walker's awesome, and he actually does catch some passes, and that Chiefs game should be an up and down, score fest, hopefully. And Pollard just has, I know he didn't come through for you last week, but he still got 19 carries and 5 targets. Name me a run. Chubb isn't getting that. Chubb isn't getting that, and we know Pollard has touchdown upside, big play upside. I'm going to go Pollard and Walker.
Finally, an excuse to bench Chubb, right? Yeah, you gotta like Walker. You gotta like Pollard. I mean, at least there's some legit concerns with Chubb, so I agree. I'm gonna go Walker and Pollard, and then I think we can easily answer this one. Hurts is out. Sam Darnold and Mike White. Well, I don't think Mike White's playing.
I mean, I'd rather just take the 0, but I guess Sam Darnold.
All right. The answer is none of the above. No, it's not. Mike White, I don't think is playing. Might not play the rest of the season.
Well, they've already announced he's out this week. Maybe he comes back next week, but this week he's out.
Yeah, I was gonna put I wanted to end on a Gardner Minshew question. I saw one. I was gonna put it up.
Oh, we got another super chat while you're looking for that.
So
Ken, do we flex Dobbins, Etienne, Pacheco, or Bam?
Definitely not Bam out of that group. Man, for me, it's between Pacheco and Dobbins, both in good spots. I think I'm going to say Dobbins.
Yeah, it probably is Dobbins. Unless because he did miss practice today. So unless we hear like the whole, like, he's just dealing with some knee tenderness, some knee soreness, no big deal. Then I'm out. On Dobbins. I'm out.
Right. All right. And we are out. Speaking of, guys, our time is up. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to join us Friday night for Start Sit. Hold on.
Always got that one snuck in. Get that one snuck
Nathaniel. All right, let's do this. Pick 2 running backs: Saquon, Chubb, K9, and Pollard.
Man, only 2 of these guys? Okay, I do see the second part of his question is also, who would you flex out of these running backs or Garrett Wilson? Well, in that case, I will play Barkley, Walker, and Pollard, and I will bench Chubb and Wilson. I know Wilson has a good matchup this week, but come on. He had a great matchup he had a better matchup last week against Detroit. He's got Zach Wilson. His upside is capped. I think I'm going to go with the 3 running backs, not Chubb, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely start Saquon, like, for sure. I'm starting Walker. To me, then it's between Pollard and Wilson. I mean, full PPR, I don't know. I don't know if Pollard is in a spot to really have a huge game against the Eagles. That's the thing. But is Wilson going to have a big game with Zach Wilson? So, we'll make it easier. Like, if you life easier for you and go Pollard.
I think Pollard at least has the floor of Garrett Wilson, but with the upside for more. Because we know Pollard's one of those guys that can, like, get a swing pass and score or get a 50-yard run for a touchdown.
Yeah, he's not dependent on someone else like Zach Wilson specifically.
Yes, exactly.
All right, this will be the last comment here. Have a great Christmas. Look, we'll see you before Christmas. Like I said,
we'll see you on Friday.
We're going to be here Friday night to answer your start sit questions. And, of course, check out our videos for this week. Start sit for every position, like always. And that defensive streamer video. Playoff heroes. We got you. Of course, the booms. Check out the description below if you want to find other ways to join us. You can chat with us on Discord right now after we get off, and along with other amazing members of our in-game community. You can consider becoming a patron. Information down below also. All right, guys. We will see you hopefully soon. Good luck this week.